G'day, citizens. Welcome to Inforunners. I'm joined on, and no, we're not late. We arrive exactly when we mean to. Algared had some mic issues at the moment. Hang on a minute. I got an audio in the background.
Frustration beyond.
I hear myself in the background. That drives me nuts. I hate hearing myself. But yeah. Yeah. No, Algared's had a mic issue. Yeah. He had to swap his mic over. Some kind of update to his he uses a different thing, like he uses this Rode thing, and it causes all these issues because I don't know how it works, and because I'm his tech support, my tech support is throw it out the window, get the other microphone and use that instead. That's my tech support.
But I was already doing the other microphone before I hit text.
Yeah.
He rings up to say, "Where are you?" And I said, "I'm just plugging the other mic." I can't get this the big one, the best one to work. So
yeah.
So if I look this way, you'll probably lose me in volume. So
yep. Alrighty.
So
I think we have to talk about the elephant in the room. Last 24 hours they did an ISC. Have you heard anything about it? Have you seen it?
I have not had a chance to do anything because it's been.
You have a cougher in the background. Might want to put a muzzle on that. Just saying.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'll endeavour to do that.
You're in big trouble, miss, when I talk to you next. Lots of yelling and screaming. Right. No, anyway.
Yep.
Yeah. So no, not the Galaxy. There's no problem with the Galaxy. The problem was they did this ISC, right? And I haven't watched it, right? But I've watched everyone else's content on it because it's actually quicker to watch that than it is to watch the show, because the show goes for like 2 hours. And you know as well as I do, I don't really watch ISC anymore because it's got to the point where it is excessively long, and the longer the ISCs have gone on, the less and less information there are in them. So I found
Unfortunately, it does feel like that.
Yeah,
an ISC, they're long.
Wasted my time.
And short on content.
Yeah. So I haven't watched them in a really, really long time. I watch a lot of summaries and stuff like that. I found that that's just the better way to approach it, because you basically, the information, generally, like we're a day later, and I've got all the information out of it that I needed to get. So I didn't even need to watch it to get the information out of it.
And often when you do watch a summary, you can, if it's something that catches your interest, then you go to the video and double check them. The material yourself.
That's exactly right. That's exactly what I do. That's what we both do. But this was a gameplay reveal of Siege of Origin, the updated thing, for them to show what it was. Now, they've done Siege of Origin, it's probably 5-6 years old at this point, so it's an update. I'm also more of a doer than a watcher. Like, you know that I don't like to watch sports. I'd rather play the sport. It's exactly the same. I've been in the Ivacati test, as you have as well. I would much rather go in and actually play it myself than watch someone else play it. So I had zero interest in watching this. That said, this thing is really blown up, and a lot of people are hypercritical of how it is. Now, traditionally, when something goes bad like this, right, CIG run from it. Now, I would like to see them do the opposite approach and learn from this and do it again.
And meet it head on.
And it's like you and me. How do we do things? We alliterate and we go again, right? If we need to get data on something, we can't just do it once. We have to do it multiple times to get the actual proper data points. So I would hate to think that they see this as like they might see it as an absolute colossal failure, but I would like to see them learn how to do it properly. That's basically. I do find it a little. Go ahead.
I was going to say a bit like John Crew dealing with the issues that got raised with the Galaxy.
Yes, he met it head
deal
on.
with it head on.
That's exactly it.
That was the way you want to deal with it, rather than heads in the sand or just plow on and just do, can't see it. And that's often what it does feel like. I have to think it's not SRG feel they are when they're doing that, but that is certainly the perception we as players and community often feel, I think.
Yeah. I also think it kind of showed what you and I have been saying all these years as well, is you really do need two hosts, and they need to be of different ilk. I do find Ollie and Disco are both comedic. I think you need so you've got your C3PO, but now I've got two C3POs. We need an R2D2. So I do hope, I'd actually hope that if that's what their intent is, now I don't, like, I'm not in saying this is their intent, but it feels like they're bringing in Ollie so Disco can step out. I don't know if that's the plan. I've got no idea. I've got no background information there at all. But I would actually think it would be a good time to bring in two hosts, personally.
Yeah.
And how, if they are replacing Disco, or Disco wants to step out, or whatever it is. I don't know what the. How does it feel to you them bringing Ollie in at this stage? Not that I have any issue with Ollie at all, well, as I don't really have Disco with them. It's their presentation, so and what they bring.
Yeah, I think there would be does give a sense they're either trying to bring in a second host so that they can mix it up, in which case you want two characters who are different styles so that you do get that mixed up. A stream of you and you would not be much fun.
Oh, exactly. It'd be a bit flat.
And a stream of just me and me would not be much fun.
Yeah,
it's the fact that we're
you want those
completely opposite.
Not just opposite, but even if you get two people that are similar, you still get differing opinions, right? And stuff. It's the degrees of separation. If everyone was exactly a clone of each other, it wouldn't be very exciting. Yeah, I do think personality-wise, they're a little bit on that comic relief side. I would like to see someone a bit more data-driven as well. Grim did or Starjump Grim did a really good stream going through the things that he thought were wrong yesterday, and I did watch that at length. And I also watched a few other people at length as well, their critiques and all that. So I think there's a lot of feedback out there, is what I'm trying to get at. And I think they should take that feedback on board and try again. I think the worst case scenario here is they just shut it down and don't ever do it. Right? I think you need to learn from your mistakes, roll with the punches, and do it again. Because I think it is very good to see the developers play their own game. I'd even add things like eventually I'd like to see them play with the community. So if it had been Elliot and his three mates versus said content creator versus his three mates, or or three random people from chat even. Things like that I would like to see going forward. I'd like to see, even if you got a ship and it's Elliot and Ollie, I'm just picking Elliot because he's the known factor out of the devs that were there. But you had two teams, and it's like, I'll have my Perseus or my Polaris, and you have your Perseus or Polaris, and it's my team versus your team, and it's just random people from chat. Really little cool little interactions like that, and taking questions and stuff like that. I think Ollie is going to take time to find his feet. He is predominantly a YouTuber. He only more recently started streaming. He's only been streaming a couple of years. So the other funny, ironic thing is, if they did get another host, I'd probably get a streamer. I'd probably, like, he knows all those, he knows how to do the thumbnails or all the YouTube side of it they need. You clearly need someone that needs the more live, and roll with the punches type of thing on the other side. I don't know who that is or anything like that. But hey, it's feedback. Take it or don't take it. It's entirely up to you. Anything else you want to add to that, Algared? Unless anyone else.
No, that sounds right. And look,
get the question.
If they're bringing in a.
Yeah, go ahead, Algared. Sorry.
If they're bringing in a Ollie as the host to the face of CIG, or Disco pulling himself back, given what Disco does, and given the way he often looks things, and given the way he's always looking at the production side of things, it almost seems like he's better as a director than the host. So maybe he's wanting to push more into that area rather than try and spread himself too thin. But I don't know. I haven't had a chance to have a look.
Oh, this is not good.
But
This is not good. This is really not good. The bot just keeps closing. No!
oh
Tell
no,
me,
that is definitely not good.
don't tell me the bot is broken.
Can we go to start? Can we go to?
I'll go check out. Saying messages failed to load. Up monitoring. Might be a Discord issue.
Mm,
I'll just try restarting Discord. You'll be muted for a second, Algared. Okay. Sorry about this, guys. Don't normally have these issues, but they do have. You there, Algared? Algared?
Yep.
Oh, he's back.
I am.
No, still
Share
doing
the
the
screen again.
same. Yeah,
That'd be
yeah.
good.
I will need to shit again. But no, it's still doing it. I don't know what to do. All right, we're gonna have
Can
to
we
go
go to
botless.
StarStream?
No, that's what I'm checking, and it's and the bot's just closing again when I open it. I don't know what's going on. And if you go to StarStream, does the channel work for you? Because for me, it's failing to load messages.
Question.
I go there and it just says messages. I'm even having issues in our own channel. So I believe there's a Discord issue. Period. So Discord's probably having another issue. We're lucky we can even talk to each other at this point. So we'll just have to do questions the old-fashioned way. I will start up a Q&A on YouTube. So please get your questions in there on YouTube.
Yeah, because we're gonna struggle. You're on a third today. If I haven't been struggling already and been stressed to the gills.
Just a bit like that. Well, the question box does make it.
It takes some of the pressure off. It really does.
Does, and I won't be able to read YouTube chat anymore. So you'll have to be on that one as well.
I'll watch the YouTube chat and the chats and.
All right. So the other thing I wanted to go through while we're waiting for those to roll in, I had a couple other things here that I want to go through. I did find that one funny, but I don't want to go through that one. I want to go through the monthly report. So I'll bring everyone over to that. Excuse me. Found this really interesting. So this is a picture of the galaxy, right? And it clearly is using the Perseus, similar stylings to the Perseus, right? How you get up into the seat in the Perseus, but they move this 2 seats on the side to the front, and so they've adjusted some stuff around. But the thing that freaks me out, this is in grey box, so this is either a very old image, or they're building this ship at warp speed.
Yep.
Because think about the Polaris, even the Kraken that we saw earlier in the year. Like, these things are already textured and kind of, you know what I mean? Or did they turn the textures off for this image? Like, these are the questions I'm starting to ask, right? I was a bit weirded out by this image. I'm like, it's not far away, boys and girls. Like, we're at August, September, October, November. Like, it's less than 4 months.
Yep.
What?
Yeah, I know. And Lucky Charms, thank you for being a member, for taking basic membership for 11 months.
We've also got that.
I'm not sure it's his 11th month or whether he's purchased for 11 months, but welcome and fantastic. Good to see you, and thanks a heap.
So Dom
on YouTube.
Also Dom4419 subbed on for a tier 1 sub on.
So we did.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, so I don't know. What's your thoughts on that? Does that seem a bit behind the 8 ball to you, or?
It does seem a little bit behind the 8 ball, but what I do like is the 2 console controls for those for the seats. There actually is a console control rather than it's still a fairly modern looking one.
Well, yeah, because the
But at
others are
least,
just remote turrets, aren't they? So they just kind of have the
yeah.
joysticks. Yeah.
But that does feel a little bit more uh,
Mm. Yeah.
there. But I'd still like to see some older style. But again, this is a newer ship, so it shouldn't
Yeah. But
have
with
that
like,
older feel.
I've seen some people commenting that they're really annoyed that they're using the Perseus lot here. It's like, well, that's what was always going to be. They were literally, if you remember, the Galaxy was meant to come first. They've literally, that's always been the plan, that these two ships kind of come in dub set, and they were going to use pieces of each other. It was really
Yeah.
obvious. They are roughly in the same size range if you do the math.
And if I understand correctly, they're both in the same in terms of the world, in terms of the verse, they are in the same generation of ships. It's
I
not like a Connie versus
don't actually know. I've never
a
actually
Galaxy.
checked that. That would be more your domain, sir. So I'll just believe
Um,
you.
so my gut feeling is that they're in that same generation. They're both they're both Doritos. They've got styling. It's completely different from a Connie or a Aurora Mark One or a Bengal or any of the other ships. So it's so you'd expect that.
Yeah. I do like this engine piece down here. I think this is different.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think you're going to find that there's a lot of similarities between this and the Perseus. I think things like the cargo module are going to probably look incredibly similar to the Perseus or the Polaris and other RSI ships that we've seen before. Maybe some just different slightly different coloring, but similar styles. Like, we've got a pretty mature kit now, boys and girls. Like, what did you expect? It was going to look like it's not going to not look like RSI. Like, it's just kind of how it is. You know, you've got the medical facilities on the Polaris. You know, you can kind of see them coming out, and the Apollo. You can pretty much copy those straight across to the medical module of this. It's like it's not rocket science. You know,
No.
and then
Unfortunately.
and then you've got the refinery module, and again, that's probably going to be the most interesting one to see, because it's going to lead into that industry styling.
That engine component there is, to me, looks very much like the gravity generator. So I could be wrong, but that's what it does appear to be to me.
SC fanboy, we just talked about that stuff a little bit, man. You missed it earlier. Sorry, mate. But yeah, we talked about the ISC. I don't really watch the ISCs because they've never really contained much information. And I do like to see that they experimented. Yes, they made a whole bunch of mistakes, but if you just shit on them really heavily, this is the thing that I'll say. If you shit on CIG, they retract, right? Do you want them to keep playing the game, or do you want them to go back to the less information that we have now? So instead of just saying it was shit and crap, give them constructive feedback. Because if you just say it's shit and crap, they close down. So tell them what was wrong and how they could fix it.
And if you're realistic and fair, everybody reacts like that.
Yeah.
If you're constantly telling someone they're crap or it's stupid, they go defensive. 100%. You know, you see it everywhere.
Yeah. So so if you watch what we said earlier, SC fanboy, that's what we're saying. We're saying this is how you fix it. Try again, reiterate, and go again. Right? Again, Ollie's also trying to find his feet. This is the first show he's done. He is a YouTuber first, and he's only been doing streaming fairly recently, like about 12 months worth of it. And he's nowhere near as popular as a streamer as he is a YouTuber, right? And you got to remember, the other part of this is he walked into Star Citizen. He was a GTA streamer that brought his audience across. So that can have some, draw some people in that weren't actually drawn in. You know what I mean?
So that's, I think that the fact that he was a Grand Theft Auto streamer, coming into Star Citizen, I think that speaks volumes myself. Now, look, fanboy, I really don't think that we're past constructive criticism. You are never past constructive criticism, ever. You know, if you're just blaming someone and saying they're wrong, it's it's bad.
It's the same thing with me. Like, I like feedback. Like, I was in a chat the other day, and someone that I thought I knew fairly well said to me in this chat, said, Execute is a terrible person. Why am I a terrible person? He never told me why.
Yep.
He just said I'm a terrible person. Oh, well, I can't do anything about that. You haven't told me what's wrong. What have I done wrong? So if you're going to give feedback, give it actionable feedback. I can't stop being terrible if you don't tell me why I'm terrible. It's that simple. Same thing.
Yep.
And I don't know.
Yep.
Obviously, I've said something to this person, or I've ticked them off somehow, and they're miffed. That's just is what it is. Instead of being adult about it, and that's the thing, we're all adults. You got to be adult about it, and just, you know. So I can't do anything to fix what the problem is that this person's having unless they tell me. And it's the same thing with CIG. Unless we give them the feedback that they need to fix it, we can't. Just saying that you're a bunch of dickheads. Oh, all right. Chat just came back. I might be able to get this. Might be able to get the bot working. Hold on. Keep going, Algared.
Yep. No, I was just trying to follow the chat because the discussions are racing through. Because Pete came in and started saying stuff, and
well, he does that, doesn't he?
Was trying to follow what was going on, but I couldn't. It was going too quick.
I think the bot might be working. Can someone on Twitch?
Oh, that would be good.
I'll do a test. Hang on. Hey, they're working, and they're even coming in. Sweet. All right, we've got a couple of questions there. So, Algared's,
well, that saves us.
Algared's relief. We've got a bunch of questions here on the Q&A. We'll do those, but the bot's there as well. So, get your questions in there. I'll go away. So, what was ever wrong with Discord was fixed. So that was a Discord issue.
Yeah, I wish it was a Discord issue with my mics, but
yeah, and I think we'd all admit, if you are running a stream, having Elliot there on your first stream would be like streaming on hard mode. I spent a lot of time with it. It'd be like streaming with me, right? Because if me and Elliot got on like a house on fire, we that bar citizen, we just sat there and talked all night. So we got on really extremely well, and I really love Elliot.
And they get on well with Pete, and you know Elliot will give Pete grief left, right, and center.
Oh, Pete would get on well with Elliot for sure. Absolutely for sure. We sent Pete photos mocking him for not being there.
I did. I did.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, it would be worth. It's like having two comedians and the class clown.
Yeah, basically.
But yeah, it's a recipe for disaster.
They needed a
disaster, but it's a recipe for disaster.
They needed a ringmaster, and all they had was clowns and comedians. So it was just all over the shop. Yeah.
Yeah. I look, not having seen it, but just knowing that it is, as you said, it really is just. It would have been mayhem. It would have been almost like trying to do our tier list. It you know, it just becomes almost an unmanageable feast of ideas.
Yeah.
And everyone's got great ideas, but and it go, you know, you say, oh yeah, we'll do 5 minutes on this ship, and it ends up 20 minutes because
no, I haven't watched it, fanboy, because again, I get nothing out of the ISCs and they take up all my time. But I've watched other people talking on it and reporting about it. And again, I knew you guys were on talk about it, but I've got no interest in an ISC. You get no information about the game. You get no information about the ships. It's not tailored to me. It's not something that I've got any interest in. If you guys want to go watch the devs play the game, awesome, go watch it. But to me, I'm not a watcher. I am a doer, right? So I can actually, I'm in the Evocati, I can just go play it for myself. Why would I want to watch the devs play essentially almost what I'm playing? So it's...
Yeah. There you go.
Right, well,
Pete says he had to watch it twice because he was dealing with the chat saying you're in the first.
Yeah,
so, you know.
Well, yeah. Again, I was on with Pete just before he was like a couple of hours before, but it was like midnight when I left. And I said to Pete, like, it's not something that's going to interest me. It's going to be an utter shit show. And I was right, and I think most people could say it was going to be a shit show because, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
It's the same as the other streams they've attempted in the past. They've just got to work out their format. I don't know what it
yeah,
is,
and
but yeah.
it is hard to work out a format, and it is certainly hard to work out to bring a new person into an established format and have
Mm,
it work. Um, like I know it took you and me a while to um uh,
yes.
get our feet and work out how we'd work the dynamics and stuff.
Mm,
Um, but it worked.
yeah.
But it took us a while. I wouldn't say, and I'd say there are even times where we still
Yeah.
frustrate, annoy, and
It's more at the extreme ends these days, like heat and stuff like that.
mm,
When we're
oh
pushed
yeah,
to our
when it's super
limits.
hot,
Yep.
or super tired, or
So there's two other
um,
things I want to go over, but because the other thing is when we come back around to the questions, we're going to be going through all this stuff again. So that's why I kind of want
yeah,
to move on from it a bit. SC fanboy brought it up again. That's fine. Well, I'm sure it'll come back around again. But I want to go through
yeah,
these other couple of things. So the first one is the sneak peek this week. Um,
mhm,
Now I don't know what to make of this because I think this is another engine intake.
yep. It certainly looks like the same engine styling,
Hmm.
um, but it looks like a different engine.
Yeah.
It looks like similar, but it looks different, and it looks like
Hmm.
those things are going around the engine as well. So, because you can almost see what looks like a third
And
under above my head.
they are similar in styling to the other one though. So
Mm,
I think we're onto it now. There's one at the front, kind of like what was in the last sneak peek, and then I think there are probably two engines either side,
two on the wing.
and that's what these are. So there's some kind of air intake on the front at the nose, which was the last one. Hmm.
Yeah, but your guess other than that is as good as mine. I do think that what we could see at the front near my head is that engine spike that we see often on at the front of the engines on most of the um, Kruger ships.
The other thing I do want to
So,
point out that's I've noticed in this picture and the last one
mm,
is the colors. You notice how there's a predominantly red theme going here?
yep,
Um, so I'm seeing it like, how do I put this? Traditionally Origin have always had that kind of white look, right? And then they did the
mm,
Matey recently with the different color. The Kruger here, I like it's almost like it's a striking change color look. I don't know how else to explain that. Like it's almost like it's when you have like a Lamborghini or a Ferrari and they have this traditional color and then they go bam and they just make it like purple.
yeah,
Yeah, I don't know if they're going for that, but that's what I feel they're going for because
yeah.
it's
Well,
this browny red.
it's a bit like the P72 Emerald. The others are just pristine chrome, and then this one, the Emerald comes out and
Yeah,
it's striking. So I get what you're saying, but yeah,
yeah, we'll see. So
pearlescent is rabbits.
I'm definitely getting a performance vibe though from this one, like with
Mm. Oh,
like.
just it,
Well, I was just gonna say, how the Wolf had the kind of more
mm,
I don't know how else to say this. Like, if you look at the two engines, I know we've only got snippets, right, of this second one,
yeah,
but this almost looks like it's digitalized, where the other one was very manual, like a
yeah.
traditional engine. This is almost like this is
This,
an electronic engine versus a petrol engine. That's what I'm trying to
yeah.
describe, if that
It
makes sense.
it gives the impression of precision.
Yeah.
It's precision manufactured, and that I do like. If this is a Kruger ship, and I'm assuming it is, um, can I see a logo on the front there that says Kruger? No, but if this is a Kruger ship, and I'm assuming it is,
I didn't get the
that
tagline of it though. Let
um,
let me have a look and see if I've actually got the email because this is the Reddit post. Let me just open
Yep.
it real quick. It's usually, I found it's now easy to go here because I don't always get the email on time. You get a ding, that'll be me. Here we
Yep.
go. We might have it. Hold on.
But if that is the Kruger ship, and I'm assuming it is at present, the thing I really do like is Kruger are known for being manufacturers of precision parts. They're
What?
known for, being really good at getting things right.
You want the line?
Yep.
The art of adaptation, or the art of adaptation.
Art about it.
So that's interesting.
Okay.
Almost like it's a hybrid engine, or it has some way that it can adapt or change.
Fuel scoops that can take different fuels.
Yeah, I want to know what that means. Anyone in chat care to take a stab at that one? The art of adaptation. Not like it can change its skin or camouflage or anything like that. So
a generalist ship.
Yeah.
But yeah, it certainly, well, it has 3 states apparently.
Okay.
There was a ship with those multiple states, so yeah,
that is true.
That idea.
So kind of what, race mode, attack mode, or landing mode?
Yeah. Yeah, possible.
Okay.
Maybe
they're on a winner here, because again, if they can do something that I just like, if you were going to double, like we said this before, like when they kind of did the Ares, it felt like they were running off the back of the popularity of the MSR. It's like, well, how do we make people buy more ships? Well, we combine it with Crusader because they loved Crusader, so they'll buy more. Well, everyone bought a shitload of Wolves. How do we make it? So we put this really cool ship with the Kruger. Like, I feel like it's that again.
Yeah, it does. It does feel a bit like that. And the question is it a fighter? Is it a generalist? Is it picking up a new idea? Is it,
Yeah, that's the eternal question.
We do know there's a ship that not only had 3 states but also had fairly complex pilot animation.
Yep.
So, it fits. But yeah, I do like that. To me, that does scream precision crafting, and that is
definitely in their wheelhouse, isn't it?
Yeah, and there are only 2 companies that really have that established thing for trying to make sure things are spot on. The first one is Kruger, where they're precision and they get everything done and it's perfect and right. The other one that sticks out is Hurston. I know people think, yeah, you're just a Hurston fan. But Hurston are so concerned about their produce and making sure things are right. They sack family members if they cut corners. They might treat their workers poorly, but they worry about the product. So they want to cut costs, but still keep the quality of a product. And if you stuff up the quality of the product, you get booted. And they're the only 2 companies that really stand out as being, pushing that product above and beyond what they want.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It'll be interesting to see what they mean by that adaptation line. But I have to think the 3 states thing might be that. But it really does look. My first impression was that this looks racy. I was like, but not another racer. But we'll see. So I'm happy to wait. We've probably got to wait a week or 2 now.
If you had to pick a brand ship that the styling does kind of feel like a racer,
yeah,
I'd probably go Kruger.
Yeah,
Kruger feel like they've got that sleek 1950s sleek Flash Gordon styling, speed, and all the rest of it. Yep. Adaptive camouflage is what Rabbit says. Maybe like a stingray hiding on the ocean floor.
Yep. I'm going to do these questions that are in the YouTube Q&A, so I can turn the Q&A off.
Yep.
So the first one is from some guy from Japan. Looks like Japanese, or it's Chinese. It's Japanese or Chinese. Can't make it out. I was going to call him C because he's he's got a C in his YouTube avatar. So C says, how is it okay for the Galaxy to have the bridge copied over from the Perseus? We kind of did go through this. It's not exactly the same. You got to remember the seats are in, like, the front seats up in the middle, and then the two on the sides, and all three of them have the up and down things. Well, in that image, there's only one, so it is a modified version of a Perseus bridge. But as we said, they were always going to share kit pieces. It was really obvious why they were doing it. They had ships above, they had ships below, and bringing all those pieces together, and it was allowing them to produce ships at a relative speed. And I think they're testing the water because that's a good thing, because it's going to allow them to bring more ships out over time. Grim has this theory, right? I'll just give you an example. He has a sneaking suspicion, and I'm starting to think more and more he could be right, that the Anvil Liberator is going to come out at exactly the same time next year as the Kraken at DefenseCon. What do you think about that?
It makes sense. It makes sense because, you know, if you think about it, at the time when they were the Liberator was meant to be for Pyro, it was a shipping ship. It's no longer just a shipping ship. It's basically a light carrier, and
it would also mean it took exactly 18 months, no breaks.
Yeah.
So we'll see. And the Kraken will have taken 2. Yeah.
And it gives you your capital ship and a light ship.
Yeah.
So it does fit in that idea of what CIG
and they're the
like
same role.
And they're the same role.
So having
so
two ships,
having
two ships that can kind of do that forward operating base at exactly the same time allows you to pick the one or the other. And if you can't get the Kraken, it's like, well, maybe I can get this one instead.
No, it does make sense in terms of that regard. Yeah.
But we did go over that Perseus stuff a little bit. All right. So Parker asks, again. So these actually come up on YouTube underneath us, by the way, when I do this. So it looks cool for them. Could you see doing a tier list video based on how CIG ranks content creators? Oh, that would get us in trouble. That would get us in trouble, because it's basically going to your peers and going, I think you're amazing, I think you suck. That would get you in a lot of trouble, Parker, I think. You know, it's not how to win friends and influence people. It's how to, what's the other book? How to lose people and infuriate them. Something like that. Or How to Lose Friends and Infuriate People. It was the sequel.
Yeah. That's Execute now on Inforunners.
Yeah. So, yeah. And I'm going to also say this, not everyone is for everyone, right? We're not to everyone's tastes. Just as I don't think there's a single content creator out there that can say that they're for everyone. Even if the most popular Star Citizen creator out there, there's still going to be someone that says, I hate you, or you suck balls, or instead of giving them feedback and telling them how to improve. But that's just how it is.
No, 100%. 100%. I know there are people who don't like me. And I know there are people who don't like you. And vice versa. There are people who like you and people who like me.
That's it.
And usually they're not the same people.
Well, sometimes there are people that like both, and there are people that hate us both. So that's fine.
Yeah, true, indeed.
All right. Maritime says, thought about the future of the project. Are there problems deep-rooted and irreversible? Well, that's a tough thing to say. So, if you have a problem, I think the first thing, and this is like a life thing, is acknowledging you have the problem, and sometimes getting out of your own. Oh, you got to go, Algared? You lost voice?
I'm going to disappear. I'll be back in a sec.
All right, no worries. But yeah, basically getting out of your own way, and if acknowledging there's a problem, and I don't think any problem is unfixable. As long as you've got the money and time to swap over, or or get out of your own way, or find someone else that can do it instead of yourself if you can't. Problem. But yeah, you'd fundamentally have to talk to people at CIG about what the problem is and can they fix it, or yeah, that's a tough one because we don't have enough internal information, do we? Yeah. Next question is from Ricovus, who says, he says, what's your take on the development environment being basically the same as the live environment? As a developer, I would have expected it to be either much better or much worse. I think there's a lot more closeness in this game than what I'm used to from a developer environment into. We are fundamentally QA. Is how I see it. It's a lot closer, and you'll also realize there's a line. Like you'll notice it doesn't go to all waves until it's a lot more polished. If you've ever been in Evo or PTU or the waves before it goes to all waves, you would have noticed it's a lot more polished before it goes to wide to those. Those content creators you see that only turn up to the big patches.
Yep.
It's to stop them from getting in
and
showing what a buggy mess it is.
Yeah. And if you go into Ivacati, it is a buggy, broken mess.
Yeah.
All right. 100%. If you're in Ivacati, you're not there playing. You're there testing and giving feedback. And as time goes on, as they iterate, and when it goes on to PTU, when it reaches PTU, it is generally pretty smooth. Still a buggy, broken mess, mate. If you've been in Algared, it is like, oh, ever. And by the time it gets to the PU, you're actually feeling, this is really good. Everyone else might be feeling it. Broken mess, but yeah.
I know. I remember back in the day, and you'd remember this too, Algared. There were Ivacati builds where you couldn't even get off, like you couldn't even get to menu. In some of the builds, and then you'd get into the game and you'd play the game for 10 seconds, and the whole thing would just crash.
Yeah.
You know, so it's come a long way in the time, and even in the latest Ivacati build, I had issues with spawning my ships. Was this weird claim bug that was making it so I couldn't claim any ships. They were all just it went to this thing called captured that I hadn't seen before. And so I'd claim them, they'd come back, they'd be captured, and they'd be captured for multiple hours. So my purse, as an example, was captured for 7 hours. I'd log back in 7 hours later, and it would ask me to claim it. I'd claim it, and then it'd be captured again. So I was just in this never-ending loop where I couldn't spawn a ship. And that went on for like 4 or 5 days, and then they fixed it, and then I could test again. Yeah, and that was in this patch, very, very, very one that's coming. So you just got to roll with the punches in Ivacati. So it is.
Yeah.
Right. Citizen of the Verse. Got 2 more to go, then I can get rid of this Q&A thing. Says, do you think that they have brought Ollie in as the bridge to the wider community to improve comms and best their PR up levels? I think we could only ever speculate as why they brought Ollie in. I don't think we'll ever know the full answer unless all of a sudden one day Jared just disappeared. Again, I can only speculate. I don't know about you, Algared, but you know, is he his replacement? Is he joining him? Is he helping him? Is he? Yeah.
Look, given that Ollie is primarily a YouTuber, I would have thought it was CIG wanting to get really work into the YouTube market.
Agreed.
Rather than just a Twitch market. And Jared, from the way I think to come across to me, is more a Twitch. That's what it feels like.
It's like Robert JT said. They said, no, he works behind the scenes, and they have said that. So if he's working behind the scenes, it does make it sound like to me that he is working on the YouTube.
And even if he is being brought in as a Jared replacement, I don't think it's meant to be that Jared is going permanently. I think the idea is trying to get different people, different faces. We've talked about that in the past.
Agreed.
And I would hope, and it's not just us who have said this. I think it's been multiple streamers that say it'd be really good to have multiple hosts, or at least a second host. So, in a sense, this would be CIG. Hey, listening to what the community said and saying, yeah, that makes sense. It
Mhm.
means if Jared's not available, it means you do have a host without having to go hunting around and finding someone who can fill in on the cuff. Um, and the other thing is, I said before, to me, Jared does feel like he's very good at directing the ideas, and he's got the image of what he wants. But you can't always direct and be the host and do everything.
Yeah.
So
Well,
bringing in
even
Ollie to do that stuff kind of makes sense,
with
or
me
help
and
with that stuff.
you, just to show what happens today, like if something goes wrong, I have to fix it in the background. Algared has to fill the dead air and talk. Like it's
Yep.
very helpful just having one other person there to fix issues. Otherwise, you can't do them.
Yep.
I know Grim does his show with Art, and if Art wasn't there, he'd struggle as well. Like having one other person there just alleviates so much weight. So I think them being able, if one of them can do the hosting while the other's fixing an issue, or vice versa, make their life a lot easier.
Yeah.
And I know
Well,
they've got people working in the background as well, but sometimes things happen. We're all humans. What if Jared needs to go to the bathroom or has explosive diarrhea or whatever? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, make up a problem.
falls off his chair.
There's gonna be some problem that he's. What if he comes down with the flu and he's sick?
Yep.
You need a second host that can do the show that week. It's just that simple. So it makes sense to me. It's always made sense to me to
Yep.
have multiple hosts. And I'd
Yep.
even go further now with how wide that this game is spread. I almost think you could have multiple hosts in regions. Like it's not like Jared can speak Chinese, man. Or
No,
Portuguese, or is an Australian, or is an American. Well, he's an American. You get my point, right?
yeah.
You could,
But it would be good to have a host for the different regions. I know an Indonesian Star Citizen community. I know the Filipino Star Citizen community.
Yep.
Do we see a Filipino or an Indonesian host?
But I know Jared wouldn't like that because it wouldn't be up to his quality standards, and that's the problem.
No.
It's never been about quality. That's the thing. It's about the information. It's like I said about ISC. Why would I watch ISC for an hour? Usually they're about an hour, and you're lucky if you get 30 seconds of information out of an entire episode, or relevant or new information.
I do think it goes back to the types of things of the olden. The lunchtime chat was certainly not high quality. It was literally 5 or 6 people sitting around a camera talking.
Yep.
Or the calling all devs. It certainly wasn't high quality, but the content was often. The lunchtime one was just conversational. It was just literally doing a talk show like we do.
Yeah.
And bouncing ideas and thoughts that they had. But did that mean any of those things were kosher or guaranteed or promised? No. It just meant that, hey, this is where the developers at that particular point in time were thinking off the cuff of what they'd like or what they thought. And I think Calling All Devs did a similar thing. It was a snapshot of where the developers were at that moment in time with what they were doing. And it gave a great insight, but it wasn't polished. It wasn't.
Didn't need to be. That was that was the point.
Yeah.
All right. Last question here from the Q&A from C again, who says, what's CIG's love with these rail seats on the Galaxy? It's not a manufacturer design thing. It takes up far too much space and it's slow to get into. I have no clue. I don't mind them though. How they kind of, and I'm going to be honest with you, I don't think that's the first ship they've appeared in. I think they're the same ones off the Cutter. You know how the Cutter had that pin-up seat? I think it's so they take one animation and they reuse it again and again and again in different places and kind of move it around. So I think they've just taken the Cutter animation off that and used it to get into the Perseus seats. I think it's as simple as that.
I think you've got a similar type of animation in the Raylan. It's just invisible, but the same type of idea. It just spins you around and puts you up. It's just a seat going in midair, but the connections are still there. I can
see why people would hate them though, because it does feel like a bit of wasted space, and you can't naturally kind of move around in that
Mm.
space, and it is smaller. I can see reasons to not like them as well.
But but I also think that's the reason for it. It means if I've got an animation that pulls out and then slides in, it does mean you can put the sides in closer. Because you're not having to make room for the person to walk. You'll remember the old Aurora. The old Aurora felt like it was very
Yeah,
hard to
you
get
had
in and out
to
of
do
the
the
seat.
squeezy thing, didn't you?
Yeah. Whereas you've got a seat that slides in and out, you don't need to worry about that. So
Yeah.
it's 6 of one, half a dozen of another, really. So yeah.
Boy.
Yep. So he says, I thought it was a Crusader industry thing, and I think that's where we did originally see it as well, on the Crusader ships, that sliding seat. It's certainly how I felt. It certainly didn't come from RSI, and I think that's the thing that people have a right to feel. Hey, this doesn't feel like it fits in that manufacturer. And I get it. It'd be nice to see those manufacturers have their own styling for how they get into ships and how they get out of ships. Yeah, as Dom said, they could just make the seats turn around like they do in the 300 series,
But then,
like they do in the Constellation.
But here's the other thing: if they all do it the same way, then they're all exactly
The same.
So they're trying to be different, and there's only think about it. It's almost like a tablet or a phone, right? So story time. Apple took Samsung to court all around the world for copying the look of their tablets. Now, there's only a certain number of ways you can make a screen with a flat back, right? So, of course, they're going to look the same. They lost in every court in the world except one. And guess where that was, Algared?
See, must have been
No, it was America, the most corrupt place on earth. Right. So that's where and do you know what Samsung then did? They just turned around and put all their prices up, and so Apple ended up paying them the money back anyway. Stupid. Right? The point I'm trying to make is there's only a certain number of ways that you can make a seat that goes in. Like how many ways can you make a seat?
Or it spins.
Yeah. Like it's a seat. Like they kind of look the same. So my point being, like at least they're trying to do some. Oh, thank you, Wolf Blitzer, for the raid. I didn't see that. Sorry, mate, if I missed you there. Thank you, appreciate it. I did miss it. My bad. We don't have
most appreciated.
People are asking why I don't have the raid stuff go off. I could probably get around and do that, but I don't know. I'm not up. No pony. I don't know. Okay, maybe one day I'll do that, and I'll have like a little guy run across the bottom or something like that. And if you
Pete.
Pete, stuff.
You're very George Orwell in there. Not all seats are equal.
Oh, Pete got a new one.
Yeah.
Wait, hang on a minute. Send me a photo. Wait, don't tell me he deleted the photo. Did you delete the photo, Pete? I think he deleted the photo. Oh no, he didn't send it to me. Wait, where is it? Hang on. He's now deleting the photo. I'm trying to find it.
Well, Blitzer, we go all over. You ask a question, we'll answer your question to the best of our ability. Whether we can do that or not, or whether we can give you the answer you want, that's
entirely it. Pete, send me a photo of the chair. There was a photo of the chair here, but now I'd be buoyed if I can find it. He had a photo of the chair somewhere here. He got it. He's got a new.
Says it's pinned.
He
says it's pinned.
He pinned. Where was it? Oh, there it is. Right, here it is. So this is the new chair he got. Now, what we really need to do, Algared, is not look at the chair, but look at all the other shit in the room. Look at the floor. Look at the microphone. That's the computer desk he sits at. We have now detected where he lives. We can probably break it down.
Yep, at his computer.
You know how people said, find me if you can? Now we've now got a photo of his location. We should tag it, look into the code and find the timestamp and the GPS coordinates and go from there. We should be able to find out where he lives from this photo.
I've got to admit, that does seem like a very comfortable computer chair.
Doesn't look like it fits with the rest of the environment, to be honest with you.
No, it does stand out as being
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
But
too
hey,
clean. It's too clean.
that's okay. It'll change. I'm sure, but it's comfortable. It certainly looks comfortable.
Come back in a couple of years and it'll be all Drakified and just have duct tape everywhere.
Yeah. Well,
Mm.
looks like the beauty of that is he can spin it round and then put the legs up and have a
Yes,
snooze and
this
then
is
come back.
exactly.
And
I'm gonna have to change the title. This stream is now Pete defines his poor life choices stream. That's what this is.
Yep.
Welcome to
Yep.
Pete's poor life choices. Pete, this is your life. Right.
hey, it's a great idea.
But I know it's cleaned up because there's no Macca's bags on the floor. That's how I can tell.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, I did get in game. Well, I didn't personally get in game last night. I logged into another person's account and had them create their character.
Oh, for the first time?
For the first time.
Ooh.
It took them an hour. It took them an hour.
Going through all the character customization.
All the character faces. Well,
Yep.
actually, it was going through the hair and then trying to get the skin tone the way they liked it.
Oh, okay.
But yes.
Interesting.
Yes,
Alright.
they do have their Cutlass Black.
Ooh. Pirates aesthetic. Not have thought that, but okay.
Gift pack. Gift pack.
Okay, makes sense now. I do want to go through one last thing, and that is an update on the Ship Showdown. So we've had probably a little bit over a week now of submissions, and if you actually look at the timer here, somewhere here, we have 6 days, 20 hours. So we do have a week left for submissions. And the number one thing you will notice is the extraordinary amount of Perseus posts. It is well and truly, I would almost argue 50% of the posts.
Yep.
Way up there. Hey Kuju, nice to see you, mate. As expected, there's some ironclads in there, so I'm just going to scroll through here. We'll just scroll and talk as we go. Raelian, Perseus, Mady, Perseus, Wolf, Idris, Polaris. I thought that was hilarious. I laughed when I saw that one. Like, you do realize it's ineligible, right? And then and there's same things with the Asgards. It's like people trying to get the ones up from last year. So Perseus was kind of surprised by the Vulture. That one really took me by surprise.
But I do like the Vulture sitting there on the cliff face, like as a Vulture.
Yeah,
I do like that. It
is sometimes hard to detect what the ship is because they all have to be labeled Ship Showdown Phase 1, so they can find them. I believe that's an Aurora Mark II. I could be mistaken. But yeah, just scrolling through. And what I've got it set to, if anyone's curious, I've got it set to monthly top. I thought that was the safest way to kind of show the latest ones that are up the top. But you're getting a test of it now. Gladiator's still high. I thought that was interesting. I believe that's Cutlass. 80 again. So I'm starting to think we were wrong about the Wolf, Algared. I thought the Wolf would be up there, but it looks like it's the Mady or something. It must be because it's the newer flavor of the month.
Look, well, we've always known, when we were talking about the ships previously, when you were going through the shortlist, you said both ships won't be in because they're old. It's always the new ships that get in. And that's why we did limit it to that year of the past year.
And that's why it's hard to balance that, isn't it? Because it's like how new it is, so it's more recently in your memory, versus how actually good it was, versus how many they sold. And that's like you got these three kind of sliders, and it can be hard for us to work out. Pete, if you're
apparently
Pete,
Clipper's there a couple of times, so
Pete, I know you're in your voice channel, so I know you can just hop across. Can you hop across and just tell us why you think the Mady is more popular? Because I know you're more in that domain than we are. Why do you think the Mady is more popular than the Wolf? Because I thought the Wolf would have been due to the sheer number that was sold. So would you be able to drop in, Pete?
Sexy as well, so.
And we'll dial back the rhetoric about your chair if you jump in now.
Yep.
If he jumps in, but he probably won't.
Yeah.
Hello.
Oh, hey Pete, how you doing?
Hey Pete.
I think it's because it's beautiful and it's overpowered as shit.
So it's Okay.
It's beautiful and it's overpowered. Okay.
But you don't think the woofer's beautiful?
It's not my style. I'm not an Origin fan, but that M80, I melted stuff for that.
Okay. Yeah,
Okay.
I get the feeling. Well, my initial feeling. You correct me if I think I'm wrong here, and Algared kind of tends to agree with me. Is a lot of people seem to upgrade their Guardians into that because it landed better in the meta. And somebody even said that in chat just a little while ago. I can't remember who it was. Yeah, Spike said, Guardian I wanted. So do you think it's really people brought this or they just upgraded into it? Like yourself?
Yeah, no, it was a little bit more than a Super Hornet and a tiny bit more than I think a Guardian. So, it made perfect sense to upgrade into it. It had 2 size 5s, 2 size 4s on it, which is more than a Guardian has. It's got a smaller combat front-facing profile. It's fast as shit in a straight line.
Okay.
And what I just remembered, even though the Wolf looks awesome, it's only a light fighter versus a heavy fighter.
So let me ask this thing, right? Because this is where my brain's going, right? So let's just theorize, pretend. We're going into the pretend zone. Woo! Next month, the Stingray comes out, and the Stingray is a heavy fighter, and it's 5% better than the matey. Would you see a lot of those people jump ship to the current thing?
Yep.
So it is a current flavor of the month thing.
For a lot of people, yeah. Especially if you play the game a lot, it's like I want to experience something new. I've experienced pretty much everything there is. Let's see what the new thing is.
And at present, the matey is a, as Pete said,
Well, look,
sexy and overgunned.
Basically kind of looking through this the last couple of weeks, watching ones come in, I'd have to say the top 4 is probably going to be the Perseus, the Ironclad, the matey, and there was another one that came up a lot, and I'm trying to remember what it was, but it's not there at the moment.
Yeah, I thought the Paladin would have been up there somewhere, but I'm not seeing it anywhere.
I have seen Paladins, but not very many of them. There was a few Clippers at the start, and then they kind of trailed off, like, because it's like certain ones that have really come up to the top. And it is a hard one to go through and kind of guess, because you got to remember these are art or screenshot submissions versus real votes. It's almost like a poll versus a vote if you've ever watched in an election, and the polls never exactly are accurate. You know what I mean?
I do love that
the brick,
that Ironclad just above my head, the yellow Ironclad.
Yeah, the brick. Yeah, I know. That was very clever.
I love
it does. He does write a joke or something somewhere. He says meme.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they go meme or something. Yeah, I thought it was pretty funny.
Hey, it's a perfect Ironclad.
I like this one actually. I thought this one was really cleverly done.
Yeah, I really liked that one when I first saw it. That was like,
yeah,
yes.
So yeah, see another Clipper. So yeah, I it's the fourth ship is the one I'm really struggling with. Because there's clearly the first 3 are really evident what they're going to be, but yeah, I don't know. Pete, would you care to take a gander or a guess on the 4th one based on what you kind of seen here as we scroll through? It's just those 3 ships.
It depends if they separate the Ironclads out.
Well, I don't think they will. They haven't traditionally. And again, I think they'll make the skin work for both. I think that's what they're going to do.
Because I'd like to see something crazy like an Ironclad final.
If they split it out, well, then it's going to be Ironclad, Assault, Matey, and Perseus. There we go. Done. Solved. Up and done. So, yeah. All right. Next question. Based on what I'm seeing here, the Perseus takes the whole thing. Would you say that's the case as well? The Perseus.
I think you've got to account for how many people can possibly own it, and just by its price, it's it's going to knock out some people's favorite ships, so people are going to be voting against it. Not
Agreed.
Compared to people that have starter packs or ships that cost less. I'm not saying the M8 is like a starter pack, but compared to a Percy, you can buy a couple of them. You know what I mean?
That didn't.
So more people are generally going to have those.
But some people also liked how things were designed, like the Polaris one last year, because it was a really well designed ship, and I think the Perseus is like that, but even more so. And I see the Perseus used a lot more than I see the Polaris was ever used.
And to pick up your point in terms of Perseus being better designed, I hated trying to find my way in the Polaris. To me, the Polaris just felt like a maze. But the Perseus...
All right, I just have to butt in here. So when the Odin comes out, before Algared does anything, I'm going to get behind him, and it's just going to be an entire live stream of him trying to find his way around the ship, and me laughing hysterically for 5 hours.
First time I was in the Idris was the same.
Oh God!
But now I find I run
we're gonna
around
have to do it in
Idris.
the Kraken. When the Kraken comes out, we'll go down my Kraken or your Kraken, and we'll go around and we'll just laugh.
And we'll get lost. But after half a dozen times, you just do muscle memory.
Yeah,
I'm surprised how much I and sometimes I'll take the wrong turn if I'm in the Idris, and I'll go, oh yeah, and I'll be talking to someone. I'll say, yeah, I should have gone that way, but I'm going to just keep going this way because this is Med Bay. Or
I will freely admit the Idris is the only one like that for me, but it's because I don't own it and I'm not on it enough to have kind of memorized it. But the Polaris is easy. It's just 2 levels, front to back, in a straight line. It's incredibly simple.
I hated it. I don't know why. There was just something about it. I like the cargo bay. I like the way you got the cargo to load the torpedoes. I like that, but there's something about it. It just I can't put my finger on it. I don't know why.
There are sorry. There are a bunch of 85Xs in here as well. I should bring that up. So I do think the 85X is going to get in. If you look at it as in 16 ships and you go through and try and pull out the 16, Raelian is in there. The 85X is in there. I even think the Aurora might be in there. I even think the 600i might be in there, by the way. So there are a few in there that I'm surprised by. Yeah, so I do not envy the people at CIG having to go through and put the 16 into there. So yeah, we'll see.
The stuff. Arcane Danger says Starfarer is the back room of Star Citizen. Yes, it is that is a dog's breakfast, and yet I don't get lost in the Starfarer very often. Because I it is a ship I use a lot. I don't get lost in a Reclaimer because it's a ship I use a lot. And I think that's probably the difference with the Polaris versus other ships. I don't like. There's something I don't like about the Polaris. I can't put my finger on it, and so I don't use it.
How about that for a skid? And there's another really cool one. I linked it to Grim last week. I'll see if I can find it real quick. You can stay if you want, Pete, or you can leave. It's entirely up to you. I don't want to boss you around. But,
then I'll go back to being a viewer, unless you shout me back, Totar.
Yeah, all right. See you, bud.
You're welcome to stay. We love your content.
You can stay too. It's entirely
He's gone.
Also, really cool Perseus skin. I just want to bring those two up because look how cool that's mad.
Yeah, that looks too much like a
It's like a ship skin for the Perseus.
Yeah, it's a ship skin for the Perseus. Or a Vandal skin for the Perseus, but yeah.
Yeah, so I linked that one, and I linked the one. God, I've lost all my shit.
The Pyro Idris, yeah.
Yeah, and the Pyro Idris to Grim, because they were the two that I really, really liked. But
I'm not a skin guy, but I've got to admit that Pyro skin, it does fit with that idea of, it's almost a Headhunters or someone's gone through or a Nine Tails type skin. They've graffitied the crap out of it.
Anyway, well,
I do like that.
We've got another week to go. Could it get stirred up? I don't know if it will. Pretty hard to rise to the top when there's already people kind of there at the moment. But we'll see what happens. But kind of not that unexpected for me. Like every ship that you and I kind of mentioned is kind of in the mix. I think the only one that we even listed the mateys, so that's not a surprise either. We'll just see. We'll see how it goes. But yeah. Right. Let's see, double check something else left here that I wanted to go over. There is. Algared, I will show you this. I do find this relevant to the show that I wanted to do last weekend that we didn't do. Maybe we'll do it. Everything. Right. Let's do some questions, hey?
Yep. First of a question.
Yep. Go for it.
First going up top is Fox Creative Gaming says, do you guys think the new changes to the bridge on the Galaxy look worse than the concept image? I've seen a lot of people on Reddit expressing concern about the new design.
Okay. Galaxy
Bridge.
Well, I was gonna go concept sale. Citizen. Get it to bring that up. Don't know if it will. RSI Galaxy. It'd also be on the wiki if I can't find it on here.
I'd go to the wiki now.
Yeah, this is it. No, this is it. I got it. So that's the cargo module. That's the medical module. That's the refinery, and back again. And then, well, yeah, shit, that is completely different.
Bridge is a lot different. Yeah,
that's a completely different. Wow.
And well, when you look at it, what was the thing? What was the complaint we made about the
Perseus?
The bridge of
it's exactly the same problem.
The Folders.
Yeah.
This looked more like a console. But the original console does look more beefy and chunky, and they did go for the streamlined view. And I know when the sneak peek came up or the grey box came up, I said I like the fact that you can actually see there's a console there. But that was looking from the rear.
I think the initial idea with the concept was these were older designs, but then someone said, but they've been retrofitted, and RSI is actually kind of like ahead in technology, so they've streamlined it all. Where Drake is the opposite. So that's why the Drake stuff's become really bulky in the Kraken and stuff like that. So
and when you're also looking at the newer designs, we know the Polaris is a new design. It was designed after the Siege of Vega or the attack on Vega.
Yep.
It was designed to be part of the militia initiative for other people, and it was designed in conjunction with militias and the military. So that's what I think it
Hang on, let me
had that bit of a dog's breakfast for me.
We did look at that earlier, Lemmingham's. Can we go back at there it is there, mate. That's it there.
Yep.
So that's the one from the monthly report if you try and look for it, Lemming. But yeah, it's clear modified Perseus bridge there. But I think the other thing that obviously this is a lot easier to model than a chunky bridge like this one. It takes far less time. And it's the same thing when George Lucas talked about making Star Wars. Making something clean is actually harder than making something dirty. And it's the same thing in video games as well, because if you just make it new and shiny, you don't have to weather it. But when you start weathering it and aging it, that's what takes longer. But they have that tech now too. But again,
well, even just looking at the consoles on the in this, how many screens is in front of a guy above my head? One.
Yeah.
The rest of that space is dead space.
Yeah.
Why do I need it?
That's a true point. That's an insult. Says I don't get why people are upset. Well, when you buy one thing and you expect you're getting this,
and you get
this shit over here,
and you get this,
that kind of hey, that's not what I paid for. That's why they're upset. It's really obvious.
Yeah.
If I order a blue and it comes in pink, or vice versa, I'm going to be pissed.
And yet, the thing that always gets me is people get annoyed, and yet every sale, every ship, every concept sale always had subject to change. These are, what you're seeing are the concept images as is at present. When it comes to designing or building, that might change. But I do think that idea you had that these are newer designs, and so RSI, they're trying to get that differentiation between manufacturers helps. It is also where I get frustrated with every company seeming to do the rail seats.
We did talk about the rail seats earlier, just briefly though. There is only one rail seat in this one. The other two are still
Yep.
normal. So if,
Yep.
in actual fact, I don't know, I'm just going to go out on a brainwave right here. Isn't that taking the Polaris and Perseus seats and kind of combining them? Because that's what I'm seeing. That's off the Perseus, and that's the ones off the Polaris. Am I wrong? I think Algared died. He's had a heart attack. We've lost him.
No, you didn't lose me. At least I don't believe you lost
Stunned
me.
into
But
silence.
you did go mute.
Oh, no, okay. Well, it must have been lag then because you didn't say shit. And you're listening. And I didn't touch anything. Anyway,
All right.
what did you say when I said half RSI, half Perseus?
No, I didn't say anything. I was listening to you.
No.
And if I did say something, it was.
So do you think this is half Perseus, half Polaris?
Yeah, I would agree. It is
cool.
that half mix. You've got the two seats on the side that seem like they're set in place, and you've got this one at the rail seat. It's a blend. So yep.
That is an interesting question. Socially Confused says, is there a fourth chair up front? Because if you actually look into the distance, that strut is actually quite far forward. There could be a fourth seat. If we go back to the... Oh, I thought I dragged it to there. I didn't. So what he's suggesting is this the three and there's a fourth kind of back here? Yep. I think that is entirely plausible, sir. I don't know, but I think it is entirely plausible.
Very, very similar to and it would be a captain's chair, similar to what you see on a
big
90. The
cockpit there. Oh no, it's this one, isn't it?
Yep.
Let's see if I can see a chair on the side. I would say it's possible.
Yeah. Not enough to go on to say otherwise, but yeah, it is possible.
So again, it could just be, it could literally be the captain's chair from the Polaris, back chair from the Perseus. So yeah, I don't know, I have to wait and see. Yep. But that's not the issue I had when I looked at it. It was like, why is it still in grey box? Only 4 months away. Shouldn't this thing be a bit more textured by now?
And you know, sometimes they just use old pictures. Maybe they're using an old picture because they don't want to show a color scheme or some other feature that's in the latest update. Who knows?
So this is the Perseus for reference. Okay, I'll shut my mouth. I think he's right. I think I'm wrong. This is the Perseus. It's very similar. But by the same token, if I go back to thing and switch it back over, we were right. The middle one has been moved back. And before the middle one was forward. So it's not exactly the same, boys and girls.
Yeah.
It is incredibly... Well, let's look at the struts. Yeah, but then that's more... This is more further back. Where that's there, you see, and then that's in front of that.
Well, the difference is that seat is already almost up in its position.
Yeah, exactly.
Whereas the one we've got, it's down in the back. So
I'd still argue that these two seats here are in front of this one, and I mean that even when this is up, because you can see that. See where the pipe thing there is. You'd assume the seat is up. Is that's still in front of the chair? So do the math. These chairs here would be in front of this. I just wonder if you can walk across the front, at least between these two chairs. I hope. Anyway.
If the central seat is your pilot seat, then I would expect the pilot seat is in front. If it's a captain's seat, then it's behind, because you don't want a seat to your left blocking your view because you're in front of it.
So Jaden sent me this one on Discord. This one's worth seeing as well. So this does show that there are 4 seats. But that would also imply that the configuration is completely, utterly changed.
Yep. It does imply that, yeah.
But I'd also argue when you look at this, it does almost look like there's an area it could potentially be an area down the front here.
Yep.
And here's the other thing. What's to say that they hadn't had a lot of these grey boxed out and they had the Galaxy done first? Because remember, originally the Galaxy was meant to come first. And I think the Galaxy got pushed back because of refining. That's my main thing. And probably a bit of the modularity, because they're still doing it with the Apollo. So by pushing it back 12, flipping them around. Yeah, I think it's gonna be fine. Think about how much we carried on about the Perseus having the same problem, and it's okay.
And people love it.
And
And it's awesome.
people don't mind it. It's fine, right? It's gonna be
Yep.
okay. It's not what you paid for. You don't like it.
Yep. And doesn't matter if
God, man, I'm getting links left, right, and center now. Better angles and stuff.
my question is, does it matter if it's two manufacturers or the same manufacturer bringing out two ships of roughly the same size, of roughly the same manufacturing period? Like, it's not 500 years in the past. They're modern ships. They're new ships coming into their stable.
Yeah, it's pretty
But
much.
their module parts are not using the same structure. Manufacturing wise, it makes sense.
They're not identical. You can clearly tell they're different. Like the stairs here are behind this. If you go to here, the stairs are indented, so therefore they're not. There's no way they're fucking identical. Your own photos prove that. It's not. They are different. They are different enough internally. Again, I'll wait and see. I guess my hope is that it's still for 4 people because, again, I think I don't mind changing a layout, right? I got no problem with that. But if you all of a sudden go from 4 people down to 3, I think that changes it a bit. And I also think it would then lower the crew count on the entire ship for the Galaxy. And I think the thing with the Galaxy from a design perspective, right? I'm talking design here, is I think the weakness of that ship is it needs more people to run the actual ship, and then depending on the module you've got in it is how many people. Like, it seems to be the modules designed
how many additional people.
Yeah, it seems to be designed around 2 people. I could be wrong, but refining, there are 2 refineries, 2 people. The medical beds kind of a little bit like the Apollo, 2 people, maybe 3, right? And then the cargo, 2 people loading. So you see where I'm going. Cargo's probably the weakest one. So I think most of the problem, the design flaw of that ship is it does everything really well. Like, look at from the medical thing. Has all the medical shit you could ever need, but then you have to pay for the entire ship to turn up to be able to do that. And that's its weakness. Its weakness is it's going to be the cost of doing business. So I'll have to wait and see. But that's my design developer hat talking from back when I used to do it. I could be wrong. That's just kind of where I'm at. I don't know if you believe the same, Algared, but
no, it seems reasonable. Does that? And if it's 4 seats, I would hope that captain's seat has more, has the globe or other things to make it work as being something where he can see, rather than just sitting there going, yep. If you can't see the targets, if you can't look at the map, if you can't identify things, then it's a bit hard to direct people.
But remember, it's more of an industry ship, and the down gunnage of that ship, it is so much like the Caterpillar. It's not funny. And again, we've been saying that for all across the board. It's just an RSI Caterpillar. And you look at the 2 gun turrets on it, same as the Caterpillar. Like
cargo capacity when it's in cargo mode.
Exactly. Like, it just goes on and on and on and on. Similar crew count, all that type of stuff. So I'd almost be expecting, however this Galaxy turns out, is probably going to be very similar to how the Caterpillar gets reworked to be. I would be really surprised 100%. If they're not compatible.
No, I cannot. Like you, I cannot get past. Once you actually made the link of, the cargo capacity with the cargo module is exactly the same as the Caterpillar, and the weapons were the same, and they're both modular. You go,
same size, class, everything.
You go, and then John Crew's words, ships for different people, same ship, just different different ships, but same under the hood, and that's it. Almost. That's what I see with the Caterpillar and the Connie now. It's just same ship, just under the hood, but exterior wise they look different.
All right, next question, Andrew, when you're ready.
Yep, the next question is from Fox Creative Gaming. Actually, that's the same one. Then we've got Feather McClaw says, no, we can move on. Ollie's summary. So this was C.
Yep.
Said, Ollie's summary at the end that everything was fine was a total lie. How can he be trusted as a frontman when his face reaction is totally different to his words? It was even memed.
I would have to actually go watch the episode to get the context of it. Because again, he could be saying it in a different context. I don't know the context, so I can't comment on something that I haven't seen. That's my answer. If someone wants to link me the very end of it where he's talking, I'll have a quick look. But again, not a show for me. It's never been a show for me. Anyway, sorry, I could go ahead.
I'm going to take the view that, from what I'm gathering, English is not your first language. And as I'm discovering, as I talk more and more with Indonesians and people from languages, even though they speak English and understand English, understanding nuance is really, really tricky. Both
he
the
writes
me
really
in the
well, though,
language
Algared.
and
He does write really well, though. Normally, there's a sign that they don't understand it. No, but I could see why you think that, but I wouldn't put it back on the person that asked the question. Again, best I could say is we haven't seen it, so we have to get set for ourselves.
Yeah, but that's my first step. Nuance is incredibly difficult. I can write Indonesian fairly well, but I get caught by nuance all the time. Winner can write English really well, but again, nuance gets us all the time. And it's more difficult when people are speaking.
They've actually there's a really great movie called The Arrival. You ever seen that one?
No.
So in The Arrival, learning this alien language actually teaches you, because you know how you kind of think in the language you learn. That's exactly what you're trying to explain, essentially, right?
Yeah.
In this alien language, when you really learn it, you can see through time, because their time to them is not linear. Now, there's the subject for you that would blow your mind. But yeah, it's a really cool movie. Really, really cool movie. Because she learns. She learns how to speak their language, and eventually she could see a whole life before her. She's moving through it linearly, but she already knows what's going to happen. Cool concept. It's a really cool concept. Anyway.
But that idea of language and learning languages is similarly picked up in Hail Mary. One of my mates is an absolute sci-fi nut. And it's the one thing he constantly, what I love about this is when he's talking to the alien and the alien's misunderstanding what he's saying, and just because they don't understand the nuance, they've got the language bit, but so I think that's part of that, can always be part of it. And strike, we even get it with talking with Americans.
Yeah, lost in translation.
We both speak English, and we speak English as natives, and yet we talk to a Yank.
Well,
and they'll say something, and the nuance of where they're coming from is totally different where we'd come from.
But it's also accent as well. Like if we say June, what did I just say? To them, you and I can tell the difference between June and Dune, but they can't. To them, it's just June.
Yep.
So did I say June the month or June the sand? And they go, what?
I say, Execute, you're a bastard.
Yeah.
Now, you know exactly the nuance and everything that I've just said there.
Yeah.
But
I come round to my house and kill my dog.
Yeah. But I know you don't have a dog, so yeah.
Exactly.
But I say that to an American mate.
Yeah.
And they're scandalized.
Yeah.
Because the nuance and that is totally different. Yet we're both native English speakers, and so even region can have that influence.
Exactly right.
So saying I think something may have been lost in translation is not necessarily bad. It's just
we have got way off topic here, though.
We have. We'd need to see that. Anyway, Ash Hole says, is it getting harder to do these shows and stay engaged with the current state of the game?
Absolutely.
Yes and no.
Look,
coming up with topics, yes.
Topics, yes, but talking with you guys is actually really
It's easy.
No, not easy, but it's kind of healthy. Like it's like a
Yeah.
mental cleanse. Like, am I insane? Like, is this game really in this state, or is this, you know? And again, like talking and seeing that there are other like-minded folks out there is really helpful to me. But it also, like I worry that I've gone too extreme one way or the other, and then basically you kind of look at it and go, oh, kind of reasonable. Maybe I am in the middle, you know. So
as Pete says, cathartic, therapeutic.
yeah, therapeutic. That's it.
It is like I find it enjoyable. I like talking ship, whether it's, you know, focusing on a ship or focusing on things around it. Execute's the same, and I'm pretty certain you guys are all the same as well. And having that ability to bounce ideas off each other and delve into what we know from our years of back in the game, and you know, and we still get it wrong, but it is enjoyable.
It's just important that we not keep each other in check, but also keep CIG in check. It's everyone in check, right? Like we're moving as a community, like moving as a whole.
Yeah,
that's what I'm trying to say. Because like Fanboy came in here earlier, and he was, you could tell he was a bit pissed, right? But I can see why he's got a right to be pissed. But by the same token, it's also allowing him to express that, but also do so in a healthy way. And I think that's the thing for me. Like I like to express it, but I also like to make sure that I'm not going over the top. I'm being kept in check. And if I am really pissed off, honing that in and targeting to a critique that I can hand off to CIG and say fix it. That's simple. You know, like if I want it fixed, how do I get it fixed? Well, I don't get it fixed by yelling and screaming like a toddler. I get it fixed by actually giving them the stuff they need to know.
Yep. And just to get to, like, you know, the frustrations come from caring about the project. Absolutely. And wanting it to do well. 100% get that. And that is correct.
Thank
and
you.
I think everyone who's backing is like that.
Thank you for the sub as well, System Way, because that was also a subscription. It was a subscription message.
Too.
Yeah. So yeah, thank you for the sub, System Way. Yeah, that's kind of what we want the project to do well. And when it's in these bad estates, let's be honest, I've said it before, this is when the hardcore people are around, because when it's bad, good people aren't going to, you know, the hardcore people are the only ones that are going to stay around. That's simple. So, I don't know. The thing I heard from a couple of people, and I wasn't there because obviously I was asleep, and as was Algared, but I heard that they banned a lot of people on this. And I'd like to know why they were banned. And was that a little bit over the top?
Or was that because the people were being...
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if there are if there's so many people there that are getting banned, wouldn't you just turn the chat off, or indefinitely? Wouldn't you just, you know? Because by the same token, I don't think CIG should be there to be abused.
No. Yeah, I like 100%. Like, and we do that. If people are being rude and abusive on our chat, either we end up jumping in and banning them, or muting them,
so
or our alts, not our alts, our
All right, so people saying they're being kicked out for things like deleted by Knight Rider. I want to play this game, implying that they can't play that game because it's on a private server. There were timeouts, not bans. Okay. Timeouts I don't have a problem with. I hope
Socially Confused says they were there and people were being just.
Okay, yeah, and that's my entire point. You're gonna give feedback, do it respectfully, you know. Because again, at the end of the day, anger ain't gonna get you nowhere. No. Anyone that's worked in retail will tell you kill them with kindness, right?
Yep.
And if you're there being really nice, and like just say I'm being really nice, and Algared's yelling his freaking head off, who looks like the dickhead? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's real obvious. You stay nice and sweet. They just dig their own grave.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
And usually if you answer nicely, it defuses the problem anyway.
Yeah.
Socially Confused on YouTube says most of the chat was not happy, critical.
Hmm.
And if you know, we say it all the time. We're happy for you to be critical of us. We're
Yeah.
happy for you to take us down a peg if we need it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Don't just say you guys suck. Don't just say Execute's an a-hole or whatever.
Or Algared's bald.
Explain why. Yeah, or Algared's bald.
He's got no hair. That's why.
Head,
That's why he's bald, because he's got no hair.
Or I've got an egg for a head. Yeah, so what? We know that. But what can we do to improve it? You know, like
Sorry, Algared. Sorry, he's trying to sit in this really serious conversation. I'm just here cracking jokes. Sorry, Algared.
Yep. No.
Anyway.
Yeah, I could see you were going to your Humpty Dumpty the thing that you've muted it or suggested at times. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know where you're going.
Yeah, sorry.
Anyway, moving on.
You're not wrong in everything you said. Like, and I think CIG is quite open to criticism, but not harassment.
Yep.
And it is something I've worked at personally many years. My dad and my brother have wicked temper, like really bad. And Algared's probably one of the few people that have seen me get there, and I've probably only got there once or twice in the entire time I've known him. But I have a very wicked temper when I am pushed into a particular point. And Algared's seen it once or twice. It's very bad. So I've worked very hard to not have that, and so I know how thick and twisted some people can be. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
And when someone gets in a chat like that and they're typing in that cold medium that is text, it always comes off way harsher than they intend. And at the same token, count backwards for 10 and how do I actually get them to fix this problem? They're not going to listen if you just tell them they're a dickhead. No one will. I don't know. I feel I'm repeating myself now.
Yeah.
But
Typhoon Phoenix comes up and says, it kind of picking up the idea. He says, we've been telling CIG cargo elevators have been broken for years.
Yep.
And yet cargo elevators still bug.
Yep.
People have had enough and they're peeved.
Now let's just take Typhon's Phoenix's comment, tuck it into a global chat, right? Full of how many people are usually watching that chat? A couple of thousand?
Yep.
And then on top of that they're moderating and trying to get questions out of. You see where it goes? It's lost in the weeds. It's a community thing. Like, everyone's got to start talking on the same page.
And yet part of a problem with elevators, and CIG have talked about this in the past, is there are some codes and some things in the game that were done years and years ago, and the people who created it are not there. So to fix that problem, you've actually got to go in and rewrite the whole code. Or you can try or you can go in and try and bug fix it. So some problems are not just not the easy fix that we on the outside think. And so there is a real problem and juxtaposition there of trying to get the balance right. There's no manual for the elevators because the people who wrote the code are gone, and they've been gone for years.
They've had to remake it. And they know it's such an issue. They put an entire team on it. That's still not fixed. All right. So they are addressing it, but it's like a big boat. You can't just turn a boat around instantly. It takes, this is bigger than a boat. It takes months to turn.
Yeah, and then just to give an example of how difficult it can be, and I'll be fair, elevators have not killed me for donkeys. I have not fallen through an elevator for donkeys. Actually,
to be honest, it's usually they just don't turn up or they do turn up now.
Yeah. So a lot of the problems have gone.
That is an improvement. It was before it was killing me and not turning up. Now it's not turning up. We're getting there.
So it doesn't kill me. I don't fall through them. All of those things, but they're still they're getting better. But it's similar to the classic one they used to have there was a bug where ships were just blowing up.
Yeah.
And the problem it was because as we moved in our ship, our gun holster was bumping the ship and doing 1 point of damage. And over time, that just built up and killed us.
I think you and I have always said, as long as it's moving forward, as long as there's progress, right? And there is progress. Let's just look at the elevators. There is progress on that front. It's not like where we want it to be. And I'm sure it'll break again at some point. Pretty much certain of that. But they'll fix it again. As long as we're moving forward, that's all we got to do. And you got to also remember, Star Citizen is not the priority. And we've got to get this thing out the door so we can move on to what clearly the vast majority of people want, which is Star Citizen.
And even though Star Citizen is not my priority and Squadron 42 is, there is a lot of stuff in Squadron
we'll move
that will
over
come
too.
across
That's
into Star Citizen. But do I worry about getting both fixed perfectly, or do I get the one that I've got to get out fixed? And I think the one you got to get out first is the one you try and get polished and then bring the stuff across. Will it be perfect? Will Star Citizen, the PU, ever be 100% perfect? No, because I think they're going to continually reiterate and polish and change, modify and add.
You got to realize a lot of the old veterans, some of them don't even work there anymore, Typhon. They left.
Yep.
Not as simple as you just go to the oldest guy in the company. Oh, Chris, you've been here since the beginning. Can you come fix this code? Doesn't work that way.
Yeah, and even though Chris does a lot of coding,
he'd have to read up on it. He'd have to read through all the code and understand how it works. And not only that, as if he's doing physics and Starcloth, this might be a completely different issue that's got nothing to do with physics or math or anything like that. So there are different coders now for different things. So it's not that simple. And it could be as bad as the guy left the company like he did with the elevators.
Mm-hmm.
So they have to put an entire team together to recreate what he did because he left.
And if there's if he hasn't documented the steps as much,
he meant old event players. But it's the same thing. Like if you're an old event like us, then it's the same. You understand, mate. And yes, it sucks balls. But this is what I meant by keeping each other in check, reminding each other of how it works. Because it does, like when I'm in a shit state with this game, and someone else reminds me of something, it calms me down.
So there's one earlier in the year. You were really down on something. I can't remember what it was, but you were really down on something. And I said, and we were talking. And I said, yeah, but, and you went, oh yeah. It is better. I'm still frustrated. I'm still annoyed, but you could actually see. It wasn't as dark and dim and horrible as you were originally thinking. And you've done the same for me.
Yeah.
You know, so it is that balancing and keeping each other in check. But yeah, it sucks at times.
You lay this all out, right? What's the worst case scenario, right? Star Citizen fails, it's dead in the dust, and it never goes an inch further. Right? Did I enjoy myself along the way? Did I make a bunch of friends doing it? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Take the wins where you can get them, right? Star Citizen never goes any further. You have a good time while you're here. It's the same. It's like life. Like you're never going to get out alive. Don't take it so seriously, right? So enjoy it while you're here. It's that simple.
And Star Citizen, goes, stops, and they stop advancing stuff, and the servers are still there. Can you still play? Yeah. Hellion, a game I've been playing for a while. Servers no longer work. The combined servers no longer work.
Yeah.
But you can play it solo. And it's still enjoyable. Not as great as it was, but it's still enjoyable.
I just want to say if you are struggling with the game at the moment and you're not a content creator, I'm telling you right now, as a content creator, it sucks balls because you're kind of tied to it and you kind of can't walk away from it. And the way the YouTube algorithm, it punishes you if you take time off. Me and Algared get punished because we don't do enough videos. Meant to do like 3-4 videos. Oh, we also do combined content. So doing this live stream and video content on the same channel, it punishes you. It wants one or the other.
Yep.
We do both.
So if we do this live stream and I play the game live stream, we're again
Yeah.
punished because it's
Yeah.
different style of content.
You know, and not to mention all the recorded content we do is different subjects about Star Citizen. They don't like that either.
So we get punished again. So
yeah,
the
so
algorithm hates us.
we just don't care. We got to the point where we just don't give a shit anymore.
But
or we try not to give a shit anymore would be a better way of putting it. I get annoyed at them, but
well, wouldn't give my ships to new guys and disappear for a few days.
So that's what I was trying to say.
The best thing
is if you guys can take a break, you can go play any other game. You know what would be mighty interesting, Algared, is if you and I started talking about what's the game we played this week, even if just for 5 minutes maybe at the start of the show, or something like that. Well, I go, what did I play this week? You know, what's the new game I tried? So other people, and maybe get chat involved too, and they can talk about some of the games they're playing outside Star Citizen. Like, you know, almost like what am I doing while I'm waiting for Star Citizen 6? Into that. Just to sort of go, hey, did you see this other game? Did you just go outside and touch grass? No, but I played another game.
Like when I joined Star Citizen, I was looking for an Australian org. That did Star Citizen. There were two orgs. Two orgs were doing Star Citizen. One was Southern Cross Alliance, and they started as a Star Citizen Reddit group and morphed in, and they were doing Star Citizen, and then they started playing other games. The other one was the Osmonauts, and they were playing other games and started playing Star Citizen. Both were equally valid, equally good. I chose the group that was doing Star Citizen because that was the game I was into. I wasn't really interested in doing the Star Wars, or obviously I'd done that, you know. But both of those orgs were equally valid, equally viable, and it was eeny, meeny, miny, mo. And even after I joined SCA, the first people I actually met were people from Osmonauts, like in real life. And then it was after that I started meeting the SCA guys. You know, it's. But I did like what That's an Insult said earlier in Twitch. They said that they'd been taking a break. They came back the other night, ended up helping a new person who'd crashed their ship on a planet, and it was enjoyable. And I think that taking the break can be really, really helpful for us, especially when we're feeling or worn out. But yeah, anyway, time to move on because I think we've done that question. What was that question?
Sorry, I had to take an indigestion tablet. Burning.
So that was is it getting harder to do these shows? So we've really taken the stretched it.
I think the only other one I'll add to that is the ship silhouette. That really has stuffed us around. We got a lot of content out of it.
Oh yeah. Put the ship silhouette video in, and you've got content for a year.
And I also think a lot of content creators are struggling because there has been a lot less shows and stuff this year. But that's because there's been a lot less development because it's more on Squadron. And it was all we talked about it. But how many years ago did we talk about how I said to you it's going to get worse and worse as it gets closer and closer to Squadron? And I always knew the worst year was going to be the one just before. So this is the year that I talked about, and if this is what I think it is, where Squadron's coming later this year or next year, it'll be the worst.
Yeah, and it's shaping up to be that. And if it's not, if this is not the worst year, man,
I still don't think it is the worst. I think the worst was the 315 or whatever it was. That one where we waited 18 months between patches.
Oh, you mean the patch from hell?
Yeah, that was the worst. By now,
the patch we couldn't play. That was the worst. Yeah. As I look back, you know. So hey, anyway, do people still care about Ship Showdown? I don't.
A lot of people do because they're skin people. Skin people don't team people, but you know, people want a free skin.
Yeah.
How it is.
Indeed.
All right, next.
I'm happy for the extra. Sometimes I'm happy for the extra stuff, but I'm like you. I've got so much stuff in my. I'm actually really happy when they bring out different inventory storing systems. I love the new Hangover thing where I can go, oh, the local ships. I want this manufacturer's ships. It's searching for ships so much easier. So yeah, Parker said, could you see a tier list video that shows how CIG divides and ranks their content creators
We did that
from giveaways, ships down to black?
We did that one, and I said it'd be trouble. Yep, next one.
So C is slightly triggered by CIG this morning, so I'm sorry if my questions are a bit forward.
That's fine.
Look, we don't mind forward questions. Or questions
as long as you don't mind forward answers. Backwards answers.
But if you don't, you know, we'll go all over, and we'll try to balance the ideas, the negativity with positivity. And it's not that we're white knighting. We call CIG out all the time.
Yeah. Again, I was tempted to do a negative video on the weekend, but we didn't because it was going to take longer to research.
It was going to take longer to do than we had.
But we might even end up doing it this weekend because, again, that's just tends to what happens is the ideas stack up, and if we can't find one, we just do one of the more difficult ones.
But it's also good, like doing a negative video, or saying something negative can often be good.
It's just that when
if
everyone
you're
else
feeling
is
really
being
cheesed off and annoyed,
it gets
the
worse.
best time is leave it for a while, calm down, even write it out. If you're writing a letter, write the letter, then go away, and then come back later and have another read and go, ooh, yeah, I better.
Yeah.
I don't want to say those things. Oh man. Because you often say things, and when you're really frustrated or annoyed or angry, and it's not good.
The idea I had, people started talking about this week anyway, so I wasn't alone in my thoughts. Put it that way.
No.
There were other people that came out and started talking about it too. So yeah.
And you did say that would probably be the case as well.
Yep, and that's exactly what. Well, I think it happened. Something else happened. Anyway, let's get back to the next question.
Anyway, Rabbit says, in regards to the Siege of Origin Siege live stuff, can you and your streamer YouTube friends please get together and message CIG and ask them to redo the stream, except with dev plus streamer commentary on why bugs are happening and what they need to do to fix it? I feel like that would have made a better viewing experience.
Yeah, I can see why that would be a possibility, but also you need the people there that know what the bugs are. Like, as far as I'm aware, the only dev that I knew there was Elliot, but Elliot's a part of the level missions team. He doesn't know what the bugs are causing it.
Yeah,
he knows. He uses the tools on top and makes things for us to do. He's not the one that does the shit down here. It's what I mean by, like, not everyone can just fix everything. Work that way.
Yeah. And Elliot can tell you, oh, it's supposed to be doing this, but it's not.
Yeah.
Can't tell you why.
Yeah, because it could be the tool that's broken or something of the mission. If he made the mistake, he can tell you what.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh,
but not if it's an actual bug that was made by the coder that made the tool.
Yeah. He can say, oh, this is what I wanted to do. I don't know why it's not doing that. Oh, sorry, I should have put this figure in. So difference in the way the bugs are identified. So, yeah, it would be awesome. C, has Ollie become the new scapegoat for CIG? No, I don't think so.
I'm very interested to see what's going to happen in October. Just leave it. You read a little between the lines and see what I'm trying to say there. Anyway, next one.
Project Gnome.
Yep.
When do you think Drake will have a proper heavy fighter? Yeah, it'd be nice to see something that was
I always thought
upgun from the.
Upgun from what? Sorry.
From the. I was going to say upgun from the.
Buccaneer.
Buccaneer. Thank you.
Well, the other thing is someone was saying, I haven't double checked this, but someone was saying that the Buccaneer is now considered a medium fighter, which would actually leave room for a light fighter from them. But I've always assumed that they would just come later in the storyline based on where Squadron 42 is, episode 2 and episode 3. But when they're needed, I guess, would be the answer. It's almost been how all ships are done, even the Galaxy and stuff like that. You can kind of see, well, we need refining, so there's room for a refining ship like the Galaxy to come along. You look back, it's almost why the Perseus and the Galaxy were swapped. You know, oh, base building's not quite ready. All right, we'll delay the Pioneer. You know,
Yep.
it's all to do with the different moving parts of the company and lining them up. We've had ships that have come late. We've had ships that have come early. Look at the Raft.
Mm-hmm.
That was clearly designed around the cargo system, and the cargo system was meant to come around about that time. It didn't come for a further 2 years.
Indeed. And that will change. That changes the way ships are received. It changes the way the ships work in terms of where the game is at that point in time. So, yeah, it has a major effect. What I'm doing something on the computer which slows me down I'm a male. I can only do one thing at a time. Where is Craig?
Who are you talking to? What would you say?
Like that.
Person in the background should be very quiet.
No, the person in the background is gone. I was actually
okay.
talking to you. I was saying there were people in the audience.
Oh, right.
My conversation was very slow and broken because I was.
He's been plugged into the Matrix. He's turned into a machine.
So people might be saying that the Buccaneer is a medium fighter, but it's still listed on the ship matrix as a light fighter, and even on the wiki as a light fighter.
Yeah. Well, again, that's just what I'm hearing.
I do feel that the Buccaneer would be a better medium fighter because of what it came out of. It came out of the idea of what the Cutlass was supposed to be. So it does make sense for it to be seen as a bigger fighter rather than Citizenverse. Isn't the problem and the technical systems architecture being unstable and trying to fix it would mean years of further delays? Are we just all in to be truthful with this fact? It's a bit awkward in the phraseology there, but technical systems and architecture needing work. I don't think that's necessarily always the problem. I think part of the problems we've got the foundations there. Some of the tools are still have been continually being built. Others are broken and due to people leaving or other things. I think there'll always be delays. I think in Star Citizen, things will constantly be reiterated, and built up over. What are your thoughts?
I'm going to repeat myself. It's
Gonna
pass.
Okay.
No, because I've said it twice already.
Yep. First time chatter on YouTube, Anak Kim Rising, or Hammock Kim Rising, or Anak Kim Rising. I'm not sure which way to say that.
I think it's meant to be like Anakin Rising, like Anakin Skywalker.
Oh, Anakin Rising. Yeah, could be.
Him Rising.
Yeah, it could be. So I started breaking into the Indonesian because Anak is child. Do you think? Yeah, Anakin Rising. Do you think Squadron 42 will get chapters 2 and 3? Under what circumstances would chapter 2 and 3 be cancelled? Squadron 42 would have to be an absolute failure, and the company would have to go bust.
I think it would have to be an absolute failure. I think it would be how well it's received, how much money they make out of it. like for example, if they instantly expected us to keep buying ships to fund episode 2, yet nothing was happening on Star Citizen, I think they'll just find that people get pretty pissed and not buy any more ships.
Mm.
I'm pretty much suspecting at this stage that there's probably have to be a little bit of a break on Squadron and a lot more work done on Star Citizen for people to keep maintaining them buying the ships. And let's be honest, that's where most of the money's at these days. And then if everything has all gone well and hunky dory, they could start working on episode 2. But again, if you look at the main funding of these games, it's through selling the ships. And I this is me in my head, right? So you tell me if you're thinking I'm wrong, Aaron. But if they come along and say, hey, keep buying the new Whizbanger, and all they're doing is putting more money into Squadron like they are right now, I'll just go, fuck off.
Yeah.
No. So I think they've got to. There's got to be a balance there somehow, you know.
And I think, like, I like that Sandy had, you know, the Squadron 42 game pack removed from the store because it wasn't out and people were buying something that wasn't there.
Yeah.
But it does mean anyone who's bought into the game since that's been gone is just putting in for Squadron, for SU, Star Citizen, not Squadron. Anyone before that, you could argue, yeah, they'll.
Well, not necessarily, Algared. It just means that they're not even allowing them to buy the thing that they're working on.
Now,
you can look at it the other way too.
Yeah, hopefully it means that when Squadron comes out, there's lots of people who will be buying the game too, which will be that injection of cash.
Yes, exactly.
So there's these two ways of looking at it.
Yeah.
Both have an element of.
I think no matter what we say, they both rely on Squadron doing well.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's I think the safest bet that I would put on it is they're probably going to wait and see what happens, and then move accordingly. If it comes out and it's wildly successful, they'll go ahead with episode 2, no doubt.
Yep.
If it comes out and it's kind of meh, they'll probably go, all right, we're gonna double down on Star Citizen.
Yep. Yeah, well, I know. Like Citizen Ninja said, they legally had to remove Squadron 42 from the German market because it didn't have a release date.
Yep.
Especially if the rumors are correct. Anakin Rising goes in and says, especially if rumors are correct, that Squadron 42 goes out on stream as well as RSI. But they certainly had that problem. You know, it was certainly an issue that Sandy didn't like. I remember talking with Sandy and Sandy saying, I didn't like the idea that people were buying something that wasn't released and you couldn't get in and see it. You couldn't go in and play part of it. Whereas at least in the...
You said she didn't like that you didn't get anything for your money.
Yeah.
That was the exact
and Sandy's really hated that from the start. And I wouldn't be surprised if Sandy was the one who pushed, stop putting ships out that don't have gameplay or you know...
I'd reckon you're right there too.
You know, it feels that push feels like a Sandy approach to things, and Sandy's approach is unique in the gaming industry because she's not a gamer. From her point of origin, is not gaming; it was fashion and other things.
She's always been a lot more on our side than I think most developers have been. Maybe that's why she ruffles so many developer feathers, because she's not a developer and she comes at it from the kind of everyman approach. Yeah, maybe that's exactly what they've needed. So yeah,
I remember the approach that people had. You know, the idea of customer service.
Yeah,
and Sandy said, "We need a customer service," and the response was, "Why? We've always done it this way." And she said, You can't treat your clients or your customers like this. You can't treat your community like this.
Yeah.
And it's why every game does it. And she's like, no. But you know, and that's one of the things she always tried to do was change that approach to the way community was treated. But anyway, I'm waxing lyrical. Next question is from Wolf Blitzer. Wolf Blitzer says, why is instancing such new tech for Star Citizen when we have Instance Hanger and Destiny 1 and 2 have been doing it for years?
Different engine, different code. You know, this was kind of built for object container streaming, so you've kind of got to go back, and you can't just rip it out of one game and chuck it into another. It's like ripping one engine out of a car and putting it into another. They don't just line up. You know, it's probably easier to do that with a digital engine than a physical one in real life, where you got to run all the cables to the right space. But it's just digital lines of code. The lines can go run through each other. There's no physicality. That is literally the same analogy, right? You've got to have everything lined back up so it works again.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, no, I think that's right. And I got nothing to add.
All right.
I was thinking of something, but I think you said it anyway, just slightly.
Well, it's just
it's
just instancing. So, you know, it wasn't designed for that. Basically, it's just something they've kind of realized retrospectively they need. Well, essays in chat
and hopefully it
probably.
doesn't. And hopefully it's only in certain areas and not everything, but it makes sense for certain areas to have it and certain areas not. And that's something that
I'll ask chat why Essay's here as well. Essay was asking me earlier, has anything happened to the Gladiator? Anyone noticed any changes with the Gladiator? I hadn't noticed any. Has any of you noticed anything with it? Next question, Algared, when you're ready.
Yep. Sangroper. The real question is, did Pissball Pete put in an 85x appreciation post image for the first stage of Showdown? And if not, my question is, why not?
Yeah, where's your 85x
That's
post,
for you, Pete.
Pete, where's your 85x post?
You know,
we can all upvote it.
And it is a fairness, because Pete, you were bagging us to, support the 85x over everything else.
And to be fair, we did. And then he said that's going to lose anyway.
Yep, he did.
What a dick.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, so that was a question from Wolf Blitzer. Sandgroper, and I think a very wise question to ask. Ash said, I thought previous winners cannot win a second time. I do believe that was a rule that CIG did bring in because the Carrack won so many times.
Yeah, they can't win the following year. So next year, the Polaris and the Gladiator and the Asgard and the real one will be eligible again.
Yep. All right. So those Nightbots. Bitmask says, does it make sense to have a Liberator, Kraken Privateer, and a Drake Ironclad Assault? I have been contemplating melting one of them, but they come in.
All right, I think it's mini fix my fleet time. Let me hang on. Hang on, link.
So Liberator in a pack,
Hang on.
Kraken in a pack, and a Drake.
Oh, wait, what's the first ship? Liberator?
Liberator.
Hang on, did I bring everyone else over? I don't think. Hang on.
Yep. The Kraken Light, as we were calling it earlier in our discussion, if you remember.
Yep. So Liberator. What was the next one?
Kraken. And Kraken Privateer. And the Ironclad.
Oh, I see Kraken Privateer. I don't see Kraken.
Yeah, Kraken Privateer. Sorry. Yeah. And the Ironclad Assault.
Ironclad. Oh, that is okay. And what? 2 of them are in packs, you said?
I have contemplated melting one of them, but they come in packs.
Oh, they all come in packs.
Mm.
Well, you've still got 2
here.
Interesting though. These 2 can still be upgraded into other things.
Yep. And I could imagine it's the Ironclad and the Carrack Privateer might be in a pack.
You are very
as a Drake pack.
Okay, so straight off the bat, this is the shop version.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a little different. This is predominantly vehicles. This is vehicles forward operating base and that. Yeah. So there is some crossover here. You can also retroactively turn this back into a Kraken, so that would make it a lot more like the Liberator. But yeah, there is overlap here. That is for sure. I see. So I would have biases here when I start to talk about this stuff because I just didn't like how the Ironclad came out. But we don't have a Liberator, so I can't really make this call until I see a Liberator. You know what I mean? And I'm gonna say right now, I've got CCs and that, so I can go to any of these. But the only one I actually own is that one.
Yeah,
the Kraken. So,
as Cody Fox says, do you need a Liberator if you have a Kraken?
how many friends do you have?
And the answer is yes and no.
Yeah.
We don't know what the Liberator is going to be. We're thinking, we're postulating that it's going to be a Kraken Light.
Or
because
forward operating base.
But then do you need an Ironclad if you've got a Liberator? Because they can both do vehicles.
And
so
but you get a lot more cargo in your Ironclad than you do in your Liberator. So they're all overlaps of each other. Like, if you wanted to lessen the load, this is where my brain goes, just get rid of the middle one, because then there's less overlap. See, as soon as I do that, it's like, okay, well, now I've got one that does vehicles, and I've now got one that's a shop, but I can also retroactively turn it back into the base one.
And even if I leave it as a shop, I've still got all the landing pads for my ships. Then if you say, well, but I really like the aesthetic of the Anvil, then
you can also do the earn down approach. Yeah, Cody Fox is right too.
Yep.
You can just get rid of both the small ones and keep the bigger one.
Yep.
There's
down from a Kraken.
There's nothing that's broken here. It just all comes down to your personal thing and what you want, you know. But if I turn around and say, oh, let's upgrade this into ship X, well, ship X might not have a gameplay that you like. But one of the things we've found is when people have made mistakes, I don't want us to call that a mistake, or they're not sure or whatever, is to go into as many different gameplays as possible, because then at least you've got, even if they're a double up, so to speak, you've got different gameplay that you can try. And there's no, when you've made a mistake, you got, life gives you lemons, make lemonade. It's that type of thing.
Yeah.
But you're saying these are in packs. You've got outs there. What's this? A $555 ship versus currently a $575. So they're both upgradable. Like, you could turn one into a Perseus or and again, not knowing the other ships that you have. But let's say, for example, your Perseus isn't in a pack. Can't you get rid of that and then roll this one up into a Perseus? You roll things into the pack that you really, really want to keep.
Yeah. Indeed. Mega Tiger Ninja says, doesn't the privateer have the same landing pads as a Kraken? Yes and no. The exterior pads are exactly the same.
There's no medium pads on a Liberator, so you can land bigger ships on a Kraken.
And the Kraken privateer loses the snub bay.
So basically, this is a snub one. And these two here are the same as these four here, but you get 4 here, and you also get 2 mediums. So they're not the same pad size. Also, you can put vehicles on the inside. We still haven't quite know exactly how the Kraken's going to work in that department, but I have to assume with all that cargo, you could just put vehicles where the cargo goes.
Yeah, and in fact, for the Kraken lands, I've got to assume there's a lift for the cargo.
Lift or a ramp or something like that. So you can do vehicles. Well, there was a whole dedicated Dragonfly Bay thing at one point, wasn't there?
Yeah. Well, on the regular Kraken there is, that gets removed for that private secure job.
Who was the person that asked this question?
Bitmaster. It was
They're on YouTube.
Bitmaster.
Let's read some of this. CRG lost years from the original choice to use engines. Bitmaster, give some feedback about some of the gameplays you're into. So what are your top 3 gameplays that you're into, besides this, which is transport,
shop, cargo, and
stuff? So yeah. Yeah, I'd be really surprised if you can't take vehicles in a Kraken. It seems like a complete oversight. As I said, like the Liberator and the Kraken are both listed as light, call them light carriers, which is kind of crazy. But when you realize the Bengal and all that are the bigger ones, you kind of go, oh, okay, that makes a lot.
Yeah, it's like strike. Even the Thule is a light carrier in sense. So ultralight. But yeah, but it does make it difficult. But the earn down approach makes sense.
I think there are room for both in certain people's fleets as well. Like I can see the need for both because one just the size difference. How many less people are you going to need for this one over the Kraken? Like heaps. But I can also see how cool the Kraken's going to be. Can you imagine the Kraken rocking up with 4 escort fighters, a Valkyrie, and an Asgard?
Yep.
Amazing. That's just so cool. And then they just all...
it being able to refuel and rearm them.
Yeah, exactly. And they all just fly off and go do a little mission and cause anarchy. Oh, kids have all grown up and caused an anarchy. And then they come home and you all go back home. It'll be great.
Yep. And Mother Duck cries out, you know, 5 little ships come home.
Right. Has he replied yet? He says, I like cargo and mining and a lot of dogfighting in... I'll add some dogfighting in the mix. Right, well, an Orion... I guess the other thing is to ask other ships that you got, because I would have said upgrade one of those to an Orion, and cargo. Well, I'd probably go Banner Merchantman. But you've already got the shops here.
Yep.
So the other option would be to take the conversion kit. Oh, you probably brought it out right though in a pack or something. So I would have gone a Kraken and a Banner Merchantman.
Yep.
What would you go for cargo if you didn't go a Banner Merchantman, Algared? That's a tough one. Wouldn't go the Arastra purely based on price. $75, it's a bit silly not to go to an Orion and earn down to an Arastra. Right? Like at the end of the day, if you look at the earn down economy, you're talking about, what was it, 5 to 6 on the Arastra, and I think it's 6 to 8 or 5 to... Was it 4 to 6 on an Arastra and 5 to 8 on Orion? So it's roughly a similar crew complement, and it's only a $75 difference. But literally, you line the two shits up, and the Orion is 6 times the size of the Arastra. You're going to be making a killing in money on the Orion, take the Iron, and earn the Arastra. It's a no-brainer.
Cody says he'd upgrade the Liberator to the Orion and keep the Ironclad for cargo running.
Yeah, you could do that too, or you could have gone back to a normal Ironclad as well. But I think the Assault's probably a better option at the moment with the fabrication stuff as well.
Yep.
Yeah, that's probably the best all-round approach. Is convert the Liberator out to something else like an Orion.
And the hard thing of that is we don't. I'd probably even look at getting a CCU or an upgrade from the Liberator to the Orion, but not applying it. Because we don't know what the Liberator is going to look like. We don't know what it's going to be.
Bitmaster, do you have an Orion? I think that's the last question I'll ask. Do you have an Orion? And if the answer is no, there's your answer.
Yep. You could morph one of them into
I want to know if he's got one, but it takes because of the delay and shit. It takes and then he types like this. Might wait 5 minutes. Yeah. For it to get through. He's got to type in binary.
Yep.
Yeah. We'll see. All right.
Well, they do say that they do appreciate the feedback on the shipping ships. Yeah, it was helpful, by the way. But that was a few minutes.
Yeah. Again, no Orion yet. Well, then I think that's a no-brainer.
That's something for you to look at.
Yeah, I'd look at one of these 2 smaller ones. See the one that you like least and the one that conflicts with this the least. Because you're also going to remember this is the shop variant. If you'll have to convert it to be able to make it more like the shipping ship. So,
but the advantage will be whatever you mine in your mining ship, you'll be able to put into your shop.
Yeah. It is kind of
Okay.
ridiculous that for $100 extra on that Liberator, it turns into like a capital behemoth. Like it's
It is.
just look how big this. It's bigger than a Kraken. That's just crazy. And then just to reiterate with what was it Cody that said it? Look, this is why we recommend the Orion over the Arastra. No fucking brainer. $75 difference. Look at the size difference. You're trying to tell me those two are going to somehow compete with each other economically?
And yes, the Arastra can land on planets. Yes.
Yes. And the Orion cannot. But the Orion, it's a volume game.
So in the Anvil one is in a pack.
Right.
Is in one pack. Yep. What's in the pack? Is it a multi-pack or is it just a game pack?
Don't worry about that for now. Again, he's saying it's easier because
But again, if you're CC in the ship, if you're doing an upgrade from that ship to another ship, it's still easy.
All right. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this week's Fix My Fleek. Our check will be in the mail. No, wait. Our check better be in the mail. No.
Yeah.
We just do them like this from now on, Algared, because we can't do full episodes anymore. They're just too hard to find people.
They're too difficult to arrange for time to get the people when they're available.
Yeah, and they've got to be available when he's available, and he's getting harder and harder to get because he's got one of those things that they put around your ankle and you can't move.
Yep.
Yeah.
A shack. Yep.
Yeah.
62.
Yeah.
62.
Right. Next question, please, sir.
Next question is from Parker. Nope, sorry. Is from CUJU, CUJO K911. What is Reddit? It's a chat platform people use and discuss things. Dangerous, you get lost in it.
Well said. Next question.
Pilot Moth. On misleading dimensions, the Kraken looks fatter because the old cross silhouette's filled in, not because the beam grew. Is that driving they ruined it? Takes more than the numbers. It takes more than numbers.
I actually like the newer versions of Kraken. I think it's a bit more filled out. It doesn't look as this, so there's like a theme of like taking ships and putting them in space.
Yep.
I want them to be a bit more spaceship like and less ship like.
Yep.
Makes sense. And I hope they do a similar thing with the Orion. I know I don't own one, but that thing is a giant battleship, is it not?
Yep.
Would you? Are you with me in that you would want it to be a bit more spaceship like?
Yeah. Look, it does have that battleshipy type look. You could almost see them doing a variant of the Orion hull that was more, a cheap combat ship based on the Orion hull because it was, it already had heavy armor because it was going into the mining type asteroid fields. It just doesn't have heavy weapons. So you rip stuff off and put heavy weapons on and you suddenly got a combat ship. It's a cheap, nasty combat ship, but combat ship. But yeah. But yeah, like you, I do like the Kraken. I think as they flesh them out, as long as they're not just putting greebles and silly cranes on them to make as decoration, but have.
Tell us how you really feel, Algared. No.
Yep.
Bash on the basher. Go ahead.
Yep. I'll bash for basher. That's right. But yeah. As long as the things they put on the greebles make sense, or the decorations make sense to fill it in. A giant beam instead of the Muncher Tigermus coming in as doing the Orion as a combat ship, as a battleship. Yeah. That's an insult. It says question with the general vibes right now. How important is it that the Galaxy releases well? And how unlikely that?
I think it will release pretty well. There's not a lot of moving parts on this thing anymore. The modules are fairly large. We saw that in the Apollo.
Hmm.
You know, the module besides the refinery, the others, what's worst case scenario? They do what they did on, say, something like the Spirit series, and they release the medical module and the cargo module, and just leave the refinery one out until it's ready.
Yeah, and they can do that. They could even leave a manufacturing module out.
Well, the
That's not
manufacturing
ready.
module was never sold,
No,
as we well
so they
know.
can leave that out and build, put that out if and when they want. They could just put it out with a medical and the cargo bay. As you've said, they've got medical working, they've got cargo working. Hey,
And
but it
realistically, is there anything else on that ship that is not really? It's not really anything else great. What you got a little bit of hangar on the background, so that's like we've had hangars on the Idris, we've had one on the Polaris, but it's a vertical one. So really, is there anything really different there? Not really. It's just that it opens at the back with a door. So if anything, the difficulty is going to be getting other ships into it, not crashing into the back wall.
Yep, and you've got the closest you get to that is the Idris.
Actually, what would be the closest is the Thule.
I was just about to say that. The
Great
Thule
mind
is that
Great minds think
closest
alike.
to it. Great minds, tools, and tools never differ. Yeah.
So you run that through, and basically all the pieces are there, because the Thule is an experiment for that.
And the Thule is even more difficult because it's got that all-around hanging, whereas the Galaxy is just straight human hanger. So
you take all the other pieces, like using the Perseus, it's basically an RSI Caterpillar. You work that all through. It's just a jigsaw puzzle that's just been sitting on the floor that they're putting together.
Yeah, and it's just the harder bit is the modules. Which modules are ready?
Yeah, and at the end of the day, it's just the refinery one.
Yep, the refinery one's the one that is not done yet.
And if we hear about another ship between, well, it'll be September, October, November, right? Could one of those be an Expanse or a refinery ship, is what I'm trying to get at.
Yep. And if one of them is a refinery ship, then you can guarantee that the refinery module would come with the Galaxy.
So again,
if it doesn't,
we get warning signs, is my point. Yeah.
And as you said, if the refinery module doesn't come, does that mean they cannot put out the Galaxy? No. They just put it out with the two modules that are ready. Easy peasy. So yeah.
Yeah. So it really comes down to, do they have the coding people to get things done on the coding side? Because I'd be willing to bet the physical refining module's probably done, but is it gameplay functional is the next question, and that'll become down to how many coders they can free up that aren't working on Squadron. That's the real.
Yeah, and so based on that, I think we're both thinking the Galaxy will land well, which is great for the current climate, and that it'll be good. Hopefully not a buggy mess. And I get where you're coming from in terms of a buggy mess, because I felt the Ironclad was a nightmare, but it had, I think, more moving parts. The biggest moving part was the connection of the module to the cab.
And that has the same issue, not having people free to do shit because of Squadron at the moment.
So the ship, I think the Ironclad and the Caterpillar with the cab are closest to is actually the Endeavour, because it's got a cab that detaches from the rest of the ship.
Yeah, I could say that.
And the Endeavour's nowhere near done. So once they sort that stuff out,
are you trying to tell me, Algared, that we will never see another cab-like ship ever again?
No, I'm actually saying that once they sort that cab problem out, we'll see it on other ships, including the Endeavour.
Probably see a flurry of the motherfuckers after that.
But the beauty is, once they solve that, it's a problem that the Endeavour has that's going to be solved.
Exactly.
So, hey, it's a win-win. So, yeah. Anyway, Flip1234 says, do you think the refinery module will support Drake or pods in any capacity?
Yeah, that is a really good question, because in all the concept images, they were very clearly using the MISC ones. this is a theory I've had, right? And you and I have never talked about this, so we do it off the cuff, and chat's here as well. They can chime in. But I'm starting to think, right? Because you know how Drake ships always work well with each other, or they're kind of like designed.
Yep.
So you can see where I'm about to go.
Yep.
I
well,
think
we
they're
have talked about this.
Oh, we have. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I think they're going to have their own competing thing, basically.
Yep.
So if they have a mining ship in the Golem, they're probably going to have, like, if that's their surface miner, they're probably going to have an underground miner as well.
Yep.
And then on top of that, they'll probably have a refinery ship. The thing that they'll probably never tell you is they only work with the other Drake ships.
Yep. We've talked about that. If their cargo modules, if their mining modules only work with Drake ships, you can almost guarantee they will have their own refinery ship that only takes their stuff.
And quite honestly, I don't know how early or late that would be, but knowing that there's an expanse and there's a galaxy and there's room in the middle for one more, that could very well be the Drake.
Now, the question could be, because we're talking RSI, different company, does RSI have an attachment that takes MISC pods, RSI pods, Drake pods?
Yes.
And your guess is as good as ours.
That could be really cool, though. The RSI's like, oh, screw you both. We'll just do all of them. And then MISC is like, no, stuff you. We're already doing MISC. And Drake's like, fine, I'm already doing Drake. So RSI's like the old dad fixing out the kids' problems.
Stop arguing, boys.
Well, it is technically, again, I'm hearing Paul in my head. It is MISC and Drake that have the issue with each other.
Yeah.
So it could be really funny to see that they have this issue, but then like Argo and RSI are like, oh, who cares? Just we'll take it all.
Yeah, well, and I could see Argo really doing it so it just worked, because Argo have that universal clip, for escape pods on big ships. That's they've got the universal clip for their cargo, for moving cargo. That's why their MPUV is so popular. It was great for moving boxes and stuff. So yeah. But at the present point in time, we can't answer that. It's just us speculating.
Yeah.
European Hardware Enjoyer says, would you consider the Galaxy modules as a buy in game? Absolutely.
Absolutely. I think the only ones, in my opinion, is I look at them at ship prices, and you know how we roughly say around $250 at combat? It's the same thing. I'd say any module that starts to go over $250, that's when I'd start to look at it. And currently, the only two that do that, well, there's more than two, but the one's for the Idrises and the one for the Kraken.
Yep.
That's it.
Yep.
So you're literally only talking capital-based ones. And until we get more of these modules in-game, and again, go back and look at, have they even started selling modules in-game? Like, you can't buy the Retaliator modules yet, can you?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I'd have to go look. The fact that they're in my packs, I haven't gone looking.
So we've only really got the price to go on, though. But based on the price of these, like, I remember I think the cheapest one for the Retaliator was $60. That puts them comparatively to a $60 ship. Well, look how expensive those ships are in game. They're cheap by comparison. Like, I think the Aurora Mark 1 was like $240K or something.
Yep.
When you've got missions, you can go out and they do $300K in one mission. You see where I'm going here.
Yep. Like, I remember we talked about the modules in relation to the
wait. Dom says you can buy the tally ones. How much are they in game? That's my next question. If you could answer that, Dom, that'd be great. Right, sorry, Algared.
Yeah. When we talk modules with the Endeavour, like, you look at the Endeavour modules, most of them were like $30. Habitation module, fuel pod. So they're buying game.
Yep.
When they're available. When you looked at the hospital pod, I think that was 100 or 150 or 120. That was starting to move into the buy that one, because it costs more.
Cody Fox says in YouTube chat, what about the Star Lancer variant? Is that a refinery ship? No, that's a base builder, mate. Well, it's called the build. Star Lancer build.
Yep.
So you won't be seeing that until sometime next year, because they said base building's coming in 2027.
Yep.
And they said that's what will first be the first base builder, along with the little pod things, and then the Pioneer and others will come after that.
And my understanding is the Pioneer has a bit of a refinery to modify, stuff that they've been mining from the ground and turn it into stuff that's good.
Yeah.
Which makes sense for the build doesn't have that because it's a smaller ship.
Yeah, I would kind of hope that next year's big ship would be the Pioneer after the Kraken, in at the end of the year, but need demand type of thing. Like, so do you really need it for early base building? Probably not. Does that drop it back by an entire year potentially? Who knows? How far did they get with it before they paused it? Did they ever pause it? These are the questions I asked myself. So yeah.
Yep. And questions that we don't have CIG's ear, so we don't know.
Not that they would tell us if we did.
Yeah, and even when we do have it ear, we don't actually get told because it's closely guarded secret, because they probably know we'd go, ooh. Citizen Week. Thoughts on the Galaxy's Bridge being drastically different from a concept? We have talked about this, so he's hearing a lot of disappointment in the community. Yeah, we're hearing that as well.
Yep.
But we've talked about it. I think it seems okay to me. Anakin Rising's.
If I have to, I'll go watch the entire episode, but I know pretty much what's going to be. I really only need to watch the intro at the start and the intro at the end, or the outro, to know the 95% of the problems, because the shit show in the middle.
Yeah, and
the reason I don't watch it.
Talking about the hosts and the people on it. The second, Elliot was on it. I'm going, okay, I know what Elliot's like, Disco's like. I don't need to imagine why people are getting frustrated. Because they've gone down clown road and not meaning to be, negative, but it would have been a fun episode for them to make. I'm sure. Bit like, I think it's a bit like us. We do a video we think is awesome.
Yep.
And it's great fun for us.
But they never view well.
And it never views well. And if we were doing that live, people would probably be bagging us and
then we do the laziest what we call low hanging fruit episode that we give zero fucks about to the moon. And it's like, for fuck's sake.
Yeah. Let's do this one. Can't be bothered.
So the motivation to do anything of substantial work or effort anymore is in the fucking toilet.
It is.
You brought it on yourselves.
We spend hours doing our research and everything else and getting it just right, and because we're excited by it and we're enthused by it.
Yeah.
And you guys don't watch it.
Yeah.
And we go, why do we bother?
Yeah, it's
basically. And then we do, let's just do this because it's no trouble, and it's like, why don't we do more of these? So yeah. Anyway, we've actually answered that question from Anakin Rising.
Mm-hmm.
That was chapter 231. ACB 4R82 says, is it okay for most of the development priority going to Squadron 42 despite it being funded by the selling of assets of Star Citizen? Would it be better to let people choose where the money goes?
Well, then you're basically asking everyone to be your accountant. That causes issues.
And you're actually saying, no, don't produce Squadron 42.
Yeah, I think there'd be some kind of legality problems in there in some countries and stuff like that. So I could see how it could be taken one way or the other. I think the other way to look at it now is Squadron is so close. Let's just get it out. Let's just say it's 12 months away. Even if it's that length of time, so that they've said the end of the year, but I think realistically we're all starting to feel it's not going to make it. But let's just say 1 year. I would rather them get that done and out so they can say, look, we've got a product out the door. Think of all the things they're going to fuck off once that's out.
We've got a product out, we've got a completed product out the door.
Yeah. They can say, we have shipped a game.
Yeah, we've shipped a game. We've shipped this one complete. And, I know full well that
Yeah.
Chris wants a game to go out without bugs. He doesn't want it to be a buggy mess like other games that have come out.
Yeah.
He wants it to be. He wants players to have that sense of this is enjoyable when I get in.
Yeah. See, it's like what Cody said there is similar to what I said earlier. He says, if people had the power to choose between Squadron 42 and Star Citizen, Squadron 42 definitely dies. Kind of what I'm saying.
Yep.
Like, that's why I know they have to reevaluate after Squadron is out.
Yep.
Because if they go to do episode 2 and everyone's like, that was donkey shit, piss off.
Yep.
All the wallets closed and we might as well shut up shop and go home. Because
Yep.
that's what'll happen. So it has to be a reevaluation. There's no other way to look at it. They're gonna have to play it by ear.
Not 100%. And if sales for Squadron go through the roof, that's going to help.
Mm-hmm.
And if sales for Squadron go through the roof and they start doing work on Star Citizen for a year, half a year or so.
Mm-hmm.
Then the people who are waiting for episode 2 are going, why is all the funding going to Star Citizen? So it goes both ways. But what you've got in Star Citizen goes to Squadron. What goes in Squadron goes into Star Citizen. They do cross-pollinate quite a lot. And
I think that is who said that? They have to get it right. And I think that's part of the reason why it's taking so long is I think that they're probably trying to be a little bit too pedantic about it. I could be wrong. But look at Chris. Chris is a bit of a perfectionist. But the buck does kind of stop with Aaron on Squadron. So
and
we'll see.
And I know there have been times where they've been ready to ship something and Aaron said, no, it's not ready.
Yeah.
I can remember a patch where Aaron was the one who said, no, we can't ship that. So.
And when we got it much later, it was better, but not by much. So you start to go, yeah, it definitely wasn't ready when he said it wasn't ready. Stuff like that. So.
Yeah. So I do think there are people who are there who are fair. And one of the things we've postulated in the past is, when they said, it's, out in, back in 2016, the game, Squadrons were launching then, it could have been that the game was actually crap. And they went, no, we can't.
I just want to read what Pete wrote here. He wrote this big paragraph.
Yep.
He said, part of the outrage was expectations. People were expecting them on the same build environment we play on. Them to have a private land built felt like a World War I brass sipping sherry intense while the men were in their knees deep in their friends' intestines. This wasn't a bad idea. It's just that they needed to play on the same build and address the bugs. I got no problem if it's private server as long as it's exactly the same build.
Yeah.
And the main reason for Pete, you're a streamer. They would have stream sniped the shit out of them. You and I even talked about this. And they would have done. What the hell is that? Those guys called Griefernet? They would have turned up in droves for that shit.
Just to annoy and frustrate and stuff.
Guys, we're going to be on SCL annoying the shit out of Jared. This will be amazing. Like the story writes itself.
Oh yeah, I could see that. I could see people doing that.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
So they've got, when they're doing a live stream like that, they're going to have to do it private. There's nowhere they can probably hide what they wouldn't eventually be found by someone and annoyed.
In fairness, when we have done ship reviews, there have been times we have gone into Arena Commander. Why? Because we didn't want to get annoyed and frustrated by people who were in the way.
Ever want to watch an example of it? Go watch our Cutter Buyer's Guide. Some trolly little guy for one of the piratey troll orgs in Australia basically just got the shit out of me. He literally saw me at the ASOP terminal, waited for us to walk around the hangar to the entire review, and as soon as I come out, he just shoots the shit out of us. I left it in the entire review just to show you the shit we have to deal with.
But for ages we just went into Arena Commander after that. Not only that, we could actually it ran smoother. We had daylight.
Yep. It is true that is what the instancing is for, Pete. I 100% get that. But also how do you deal with the guy walking up and talking over the microphone before they get to the instance? Right? And from what I saw, they were getting them together and stuff beforehand. It just allows them to speed things up as developers too, because then they have developers tools and they can teleport to the location and shit like that. So I understand why they did it. Yes, you can have the VoIP off. Yep, I understand all that. I get it all. But realistically, how far is one patch removed from what we're going to have? Not a lot, right? We're like if the whole thing worked amazingly, let me ask you that, Pete. Did it work amazingly?
Did it work without bugs?
Did it was it flawless, or was it pretty much a spot on representation of what we put up with? So it wasn't. Wait,
Wasn't perfect.
It wasn't perfect. Is what he means by no. Okay. So
That's what I think.
That's what I'm saying. So if it's a good representation of what we put up with, then there's no problem.
Yep. It's just avoiding the griefers. And hell, we do it to avoid griefers. We were doing when we did the wolf one, the one based on a sneak peek the other day. Oh, gotta close that damn hangar because we'll get, someone will come in and say, "Oh, guys in the hangar, let's ram them."
Yep. Again,
so
there's a whole bunch of stuff I meant to get this year, like social tools and all that, and it's the same thing that's holding everything up. I guarantee you, it's got something to do with Squadron, and there's some issue with it that's big or shit or whatever you want to call it, and they need every hand on deck that they can to get it fixed in time. And they're all now panicking. All right, we better delay it by 6 months or something like that. Like these are all things I've seen before, right? So when Star Citizen is suffering, I'm telling you, there's something wrong with Squadron, right? And the fact that we haven't heard diddly shit. We're in August, September, October. Now he said a really short, what do you call it? Marketing run up or something like that. He called marketing window, right? Now, we theorized August 26th is Gamescom. If by the end of August or end of the Gamescom, we haven't heard anything, I am then pretty much close to 100% that we aren't getting Squadron this year. Because October would have been when they were doing it, when all those content creators are going there, and that, show you the game and all that. So the only other thing that October then becomes is the start of the marketing pitch. They're there to deaden the blow that they're delaying it to whenever they delay it to.
And I know that idea of that's when you start the marketing is something Paul seemed to make sense from his background in family links in marketing. But yeah, don't know. In relation to the stream, Dom4419 says stream they were using, or the patch they were using, or whatever, was had the same bugs as we have in PTU. I got no problem.
Okay, so I got to put in this thing. I think CIG have a perception problem, right? They've learned for all these years, if there's ever a problem, don't fucking talk about it, sweep it under the rug, and it fucking blows over. And it does, eventually. It has. But at some point, after a certain amount of time, I don't know, like 15 years, that starts to become a bit bullshit. Right? We'll give you allowance for a certain amount of time. But if I walked back and, we can talk about how they had to build the entire studio up. They didn't really start development to 2014, 2015. But after 10 years, so we get to 2015 or 2024, and you go, this is a single player game. Where the fuck is it? It had all this new tech. You had all that stuff. Something's starting not to smell right. So that's why the community as a whole, that's why it feels different this time. But by the same token, the reason why everything looks more broken than it should be is they're clearly trying to get that shit out the door with Squadron. So we are in this melting pot, this fucking pressure cooker of problems going wrong. And it's all compounded because it's all, it's all on black, so to speak. They've just gone all in. Right, Squadron, we've got to get you out. Let's bet on black, and, the wheel's spinning and the clock's ticking, and they got to get it all done. And I guarantee you they'll be all stressed to high heaven there. you know.
I imagine now.
And then when something goes wrong, like this stream did, you know, they won't try that stream again until Squadron's at least out
In
the
that
door.
format.
No, until at least Squadron's.
Oh yeah, just because of the way the audience has reacted.
They won't even
based
want
on what you guys have told us.
They won't even want to
touch
think about
really.
it. Because they've got all this other Squadron shit to do. It's just like, well, okay, we'll fix that later. We can't fix it now because we've got other shit to work on.
Why would you do something where you just get absolutely abused? Seriously. Like, you and I feel that at times when we get the negative comments. Why do we bother? What am I doing? Right? If you've got a whole stream where people are just saying, you're idiots, it's slack, it's crap, it's crap, it's crap, why would you bother?
Especially when we kind of go out of a way to, well, what we feel to be is help people. But, you know, obviously some people, I don't know, I've had people call us white knights, you know, negative. Now we've got it all these days. Like, you can never do anything right when it comes to content creation. So, yeah.
Yep. You know, so, but why would you bother if all you get in the chat is just absolute negativity?
Like
why would you do that same stream again? You wouldn't. I don't think there's a single stream of it at stream if all they got was absolute negativity.
I'd also willing to bet most of the people that are here that were there were not the people doing it. It would have been
the majority, the masses.
It would. Oh, man, I start thinking. I don't know who it would have been, right? Exactly. But I don't, you know, new people come in, they don't know how things work, so I have to assume a part of it's them. People that are socially awkward, that don't know how to talk to other people, aka Spectrum. You know, yeah.
Yep.
I don't see anyone here that would have been that way personally. I think here everyone's a bit more. They've had the time. They've seen it all. They're veterans. They've been through the ringer. There
you go. Ocean says, I wouldn't be surprised if they take that vid down. No, look, if that much negativity in the chat, I wouldn't be surprised either.
Wouldn't be the first one.
I know there are videos we've taken down because of because of our bad videos, but you know.
I've taken videos down, edited parts out of them, re-upload them up as well.
Yep.
When we've said something that's like, or I've said something, or you've said something that's like really, really wrong.
We've cut it out
because we don't want fake information or the wrong information getting out there. And yes, they have them corrected in the comments, but not everyone reads the comments. So if we make a big mistake, I want to correct the record. And I've had people go, "Oh, why did you delete the other video?" And it's like, well, because I edited out the part that you guys all said was wrong. Because I don't want the information to get out there that we've said the wrong thing. I'm doing right by the community. Oh, yeah, it makes me look embarrassed because I deleted a video. But that's not what it's about. It's correct information.
And we've always tried to make sure what we say is right. And we've always, you know, if we say something wrong, we say it all the time. Hey, hold us to account.
They should give us new excuses. I don't think it's excuses. I think it's just they generally, like, if you know anyone at CIG and you've talked to them before, they are generally passionate people and they are trying to do the right thing and trying to predict the future. So, aka picking a date. I'd like to see you do the same in almost anything. You know, it's like me turning to Algared and say, Algared, I would like the lotto numbers, please. Or turning to Algared and saying, who should I invest my stocks in? You know, there's a reason why in the real world this shit is essentially akin to gambling because it's impossible to predict. And so to get them to turn around and say, you know, when a gaming company puts out a date, that game is usually well cooked before that date. You know, they give themselves like I would almost argue with them having released. I hear about that, by the way. I think it's either today or tomorrow or some shit. They're bringing out a preview of Grand Theft Auto. How's this?
Yep.
And it's going up as a trailer on Netflix 6 hours before it goes up on YouTube. So they're literally, it's the first paywalled advertisement of all time.
Yep, there you go.
Anyway, point is, I would pretty much assume with stuff like they're doing like with GTA, that game's pretty much done.
Yep.
And it's just small little fixes in that, right? Now, the fact that we haven't seen or heard anything as a community tells me there's an issue there with Squadron.
It always.
Yeah.
The only other thing it could be is that they're still holding the cards close to their breast because they want to release it. I want to do something else that's going to go, to give that big bang.
But
at the moment,
what have we taught them in the past? What have we taught them in the past, though, Algared?
Yeah.
Every time they give us a date, we fucking hold them to their toes to the fire, and we roast them for it when they miss it.
Yep.
And that's what they're scared of. Because
they're not going to give us a date.
They don't want all that stress and paraphernalia bullshit.
Yep.
So
they won't give us a date until...
If they turn around in October and say the game's been delayed, 1, I won't be surprised. 2, that's why they've left it to the very last minute, because they know everyone's going to go, oh my God.
Because everyone's going to go, you ever... Yep, 100%. 100%.
This is how people carry about a live stream. How are they going to carry on about the game being delayed by 6 months or whatever it's going to be?
Yep. I agree, Mega Tiger Ninja. I fully expect GTA 6 to...
What? Suck balls.
There you go. Yep.
Yeah,
I personally have a date. I hate the game.
I wasn't a big fan of the last one. The fact that it's a single player game and it's got in-game additional content in a single player game is disgusting. And the practices of 2K are usually the worst of the worst, like putting the price of the game up, single player only game. Last time it included multiplayer, and then they added you have to pay. Not only did you have to pay PlayStation or Xbox for their servers, you also have to pay 2K to be able to keep playing it. Like, that's where they're going. It includes so like it is probably going to be the most aggressively monetized multiplayer game we've ever seen, and it does come, and that just instantly turns me off.
Open Comms Radio on Twitch, first time chatter, says the live stream was not that bad. Too many adult children whining about.
Yeah, that's what I thought. It'd be a lot of people not understanding game development, and that is all. And I'm not talking about everyone here, right?
Yeah,
because here most people know, right? But when you get in that live chat, there are people that are asking questions like, "Does this thing fit in this thing?" And it's like, "Oh my God, why are you wasting the questions?" Right? Ironically, it's like Disco says, every inside Star Citizen is someone's first Star Citizen. Instead of sitting there and just learning, they beat the drum and be silly. Or what do you call it? Adult children. Yeah, basically that.
They cry because they've lost their dummy. Yeah.
So at the end of the day, they've learned their audience. They've learned by what their audience is doing, and unfortunately, they're moving with the loudest crowd and trying to keep them quiet.
Yep.
And
again. Yep. The other thing with GTA 6, what was the budget for GTA 6? I keep hearing, very high.
We can look that up. Yeah, it was really high. GTA 6 budget.
And that's coming off, it's basically the same.
There you go. Between 1 to 2 billion.
1 to 2 billion.
Which is even bigger than Star Citizen. And the reason why it's worth comparing is this game has taken 12 years, right? But they also had 1,400 people from Go to Woe. We had 8 people in a garage going all the way up to 1,400. And
they also had the previous games which they were building on and using stuff. So
a
2 billion for a game where I had so much background and
pre-existing IP.
Established studios working on it versus a game where they didn't have the previous coding, didn't have a studio. So
I have to wonder that now. Number of staff. All right, let's bring it back over. Holy shit! 5,000 to 6,000.
And 3 times the staff.
Yeah, okay, maybe I've mixed it up with GTA 5 because I know GTA 5 had about 1,400 to 1,600.
So,
actually,
3 times the staff.
Let's not even pretend. Let's just ask. So if I go back to the previous game,
it
was over 1,000 people. So there we go. Right, so
So
yeah.
the previous game
Wow.
had as many people as Star Citizen and Squadron have. CIG are putting out 2 games, Squadron, the single player game, and the PU,
Yeah.
with a third of the staff, half the budget, and they didn't have the stuff beforehand. And we're bagging them for not being as good as GTA. And I think GTA sucks, personally.
Well, that's a different.
I'm just saying.
That's the gameplay, not the.
Yep.
You know, so you got to look. You got to compartmentalize things. So, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Look, I have no doubt GTA 6 is going to be massively successful. I think the pre-orders were over 1 billion in the first 24 hours. So you know,
Yep.
so the game was half paid for just with the pre-orders. So yeah. And by now, I'd assume it's all been paid for.
And Squadron 42 has mostly been paid for by pre-orders of ships. So yeah. But either way. Mega Tiger Ninja, most ship packages come with hangars. Do you think we will actually get all the hangars that we theoretically own?
I can't see why not. It's a matter of working out. Again, this is the problem. They've done so many things. It's working out whether they can do it in a certain way or not.
I think part of the thing that the ships come with hangars still is so that it's almost feels like a code thing where, yep, that ship's there, it fits with this size hangar, so that's what hangar will kind of generate. But
yeah,
I don't know. They've certainly changed over the years. Somehow I think it's a residual thing. I don't know how they get around it, but yeah. I've got so many hangars. I've lost count.
Yep.
Hagrid says, or Haggard, this is Haggard. Or this is Haggard. Says, is
like
in your opinion.
Your long lost brother. Algared
Yeah, it does. Hagrid. In your opinion, when is the earliest we'll likely see ships like the Genesis Starline? And what would you expect NPC transport gameplay to be the same? Game type to be at the same time. I would expect NPC gameplay to be at the same time, and I expect when they've got NPCs work.
Yeah. Sorry, I missed the question because I was.
So when
I'm reading.
Okay.
AI. Needs AI.
Yep. So once you've got the AI working, fine. Hagrid again says, not at all a question, just been watching forever and wanted to say thanks for doing this. I know we all love Star Citizen, but I can't imagine how exhausting this is. I know we all appreciate it. Thanks for the kind words.
Yeah, it's mentally taxing. We do check out after show. I'll tell you that much.
We do.
I usually pass out, have a drink, have some takeaway food, and just get high blood sugar and pass out into a coma. That's how I usually work.
It is quite taxing, and certainly on the voice.
That's why I turn all my lights off a lot too. Like I've found that I can turn my lights off; it doesn't sting my eyes as much. So.
Oh, yeah. There are times when the lights go get us.
Mm-hmm.
But you'll notice both X and I do drink. We drink water constantly.
You got to keep lubricated.
You've got to.
Especially when we both have that seasonal cough we get as well. That's really bad because the coughing is exacerbated by the talking and then the coughing. Yeah, like it's cyclic basically.
And the idea of people when bruck when they go out in their throat, that actually damages your voice cords. That actually damages your voice box. And if you don't hydrate your voice box, if you don't drink water, it dries out, and it again damages your voice box. So, people don't like people drinking, streamers drinking on stream. You're actually asking them to ruin their voice. So yeah. Next question is from Exolasher, who says, could ICA still get an industrial CCU? If Pioneer becomes a CCU, comes targets or the shipyard ship or factory ship gets added?
Mm.
That's a confusing question. Could the ICA get an industrial CCU?
Nice.
I'm trying to think. Ironclad Assault.
Oh, that's your system. The Pioneer will never get a CCU because it's clearly going to go over
No.
$1,000, and that you can clearly now
Yep.
see that's been the plan almost the entire way along. So when you work out that it's going to go over $1,000 because of that law in the States about money laundering, so you're never going to get a Pioneer CCU. As for the get an industrial CCU, I don't know what he means by that. Does he mean like an industrial variant of the ship?
Possibly.
You and I did talk
Could
about
be
that.
picking up. Could be picking up that idea that we mentioned with the
We'll go
Orion.
back to-
Possibly the Orion getting a battleship type version. So possible.
So
Possible.
if I bring us back over to this screen, one of the things me and Algared were talking about was take this frame, and essentially we already know that this is a door on the top. You take the door off, smash off the front, which is its own separate room, and the ramp, then take out the floor. It doesn't that all of a sudden very ironically look like a Vulture? Or
Very
a
big
Crucible without the Scarab? So you've already got, now you've got a ship that has an industrial frame. So weirdly enough, even if you don't do a variant of the Ironclad, you could spin off into a ship that its own, you know, change the
That's using the frame, but not
the Drake kit, using the Drake kit,
Yep.
you could
Yep.
make another industrial ship that's Drake very quickly, was my point.
Mm.
And you would start
Yep.
with this as the frame and things off and add other things back on.
And no, we're not saying it becomes the Crucible. Just to confirm.
Yeah, we're just saying
not,
it's
heretics.
Crucible-like. Yeah. Just seems
Yeah.
to be a very common theme, the two arms, because then it can park around something.
Yep. Anakin Rising. Will the Caterpillar get a refit so its command module is detachable?
We kind of talked about that. I think the last one we kind of said is it's probably just going to be one module, and probably wider.
I expect the command module
Mm.
will, I imagine, get the detaching code and all the rest of it when they rework it. Why reinvent the wheel, or why do things twice? You know you got to rework.
Ironically, Algared, have you seen the new Caterpillar?
Yeah.
Could they not take this and turn it into so that whole front room becomes modular? Just saying, just throwing it
Yep.
out there, food for thought.
Yep. But if we're reworking, if we know we're reworking the current Caterpillar, why would you? And you've slated the Caterpillar in for reworking and getting the modules. Why would you spend time making the command module work when I've got to do it again for the other one?
Exactly. Oh, well, they've already said they're going to do the rework too, haven't they?
Yeah.
They've confirmed the rework.
And it's not a rebuild. It's not a Mark II. It's a rework.
Exactly.
So why fix the module now when it's getting a rework?
And if you think that the 600i rework is far away, yeah, exactly.
Now, sadly, I was not putting on that laugh. It made me laugh.
Drake people don't bitch. That's why they had to do the reconcept for the 600i people, because they bitch and moan when the Drake people would just happily wait. Yeah.
Yep. So Drake people, you're waiting forever. You're waiting until after the Endeavour. Yeah.
We need to get some of those Origin people in to come in and complain about the Caterpillar. Yeah.
God, so yeah.
All right,
SA,
next one. Oh, SA.
says SA5102 says, considering it's taken us this long to not get to chapter 1 yet, how far along do we need to be finishing chapter 2 and get it out? And when do you think that would be?
I think there are absolutely no guarantees that Squadron continues. It's like I said, it's how well it does. Like, it's like, God, think of any product that someone makes. If it does poorly, I was watching a video this morning while I was lying in bed because I couldn't get back a bit to sleep at 5 a.m. about She-Hulk. That's a really good example. Why did She-Hulk not get a season 2? Because it sucked.
It was
so bad. It was horrible. But then you look at another show like, I don't know, Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon. They get other series because people watch them. It's just that simple. If Squadron goes well, it'll get an episode 2. Money has to be worth investment that you get back. It's just that simple.
All right.
Anyway.
SA makes a comment in chat about the Lib. He says, man, if they rework the Lib, if they rework the Lib well, they could fix strategic ground combat plus make ground support gameplay meaningful. Now, that coming from SA, I think has huge validity. Just based on what I know of
You
SA.
hire him in high regard. Yeah.
I'm putting it way up there. Way up there.
He's not wrong.
I picked it out to say it just because I know that. But yeah, if they rework it, they could fix. The question is, how do they fix? And if they were wanting to rework it, I'd be saying, hey, you to CIG. If I could talk to anyone, I'd say, hey, John, you really need to talk to SA. That's how far I'd push that. So
Anakin Riser says, when will 4.1 go into live? Do we have a date? It'll pretty much come along the lines of that new ship. So when you start hearing about the Stingray coming, that'll be the tip of the hat. But it's generally one ship per month. And if you look at when did the Basher come out? It was about the 20th, wasn't it? But I'd expect in the next week or two. Right? So you can check on the Monday. It says this week in Star Citizen, and if one of the episodes is an episode on ISC about the Stingray, then you know that the patch is probably coming that week. Right. So
my experience is the patch usually comes and drops on the day that I can play.
Yeah, and guess what? We've just said all this, and he's got ads, so he's just missed everything. You have to go back and watch it. Have to go. I'm not telling you now. Have to go back and watch it. I'll repeat it.
No longer a live show.
Yeah. Someone else tell him in Twitch chat, please. Keep an eye out. Yeah.
I'll read Flip's comment. He says, "Oh, great! I got back from dinner just as you answered my question. Perfect. Hey, glad we could accommodate you." And then we've got ACBDE4R82 says, is it okay for most of the development to we've done that one. Lots of great questions. Thank you, Bitmaster. Mega Tiger Ninja. Most ship packages come with hangers. We've done that one. I think these are repeated questions from earlier. We've done that one as well.
That essay ones. What's he talking about? Is Shigard a plant?
Is this Haggard a plant? Is he just?
I don't know. Is he a tree? I don't know. Does he look? I
think. Is he trolling?
I think essay's on marijuana, so everything looks like a plant.
Yeah. Could be.
Yeah.
We've done that one. These are repeats. These have come through a second time.
We're all done. We're done then.
Yes, I do believe we are. Essay's the last question. Yep, that's the last question. We're done.
Okay, so I've noticed that Captain Loxy or whatever his name is actually streaming, and I've never seen him streaming before. So I thought he might be a good person to raid, because he does YouTube like you and me. So I thought that's too. Just tell him we said hello, and how come he's never been on Inforunners. Try and see if we can get him in. We'll bring him on an Inforunners episode sometime. So, yeah,
they come in live.
Yep. All right. Twitch say goodbye to YouTube. YouTube say bye to Twitch. We'll be listening in. Have a good week. Bye. And there. Go on. All right, let's have a listen. Oh, I need to bring everyone over. I just realized. Listen.
What is going on?
So he's doing Orison.
Let's go! My gun is shooting itself. My character is moving itself.
Looks like he's the terrible streamer that doesn't follow his own alerts.
My character decides what he wants to do.
Yep.
Oh man.
He's a YouTuber, not a streamer. Confirmed.
Not sure. We'll open this first.
Didn't even realize he'd been raided. Oh well.
Oh guys, yeah, holy desync. It's crazy. Deleted by Night Rider CIG. Welcome guys, Rockstar, welcome. Daft, Digital, welcome.
All right.
Getting rated by Draft Digit.
Ah,
Thank you guys for rating.
you are terrible. I was gonna tell him you are fucking terrible.
The elevator should be operational again.
We're in the middle of siege testing.
You are
in
fucking
this,
terrible.
Latest
Enjoy the raid.
MP2 patch. Wanna figure out how good this is after all that drama, but
That's an access code, but sadly not
hasn't
the
been
inverter.
great.
There must be something
So
else around here,
NPC
Evan.
sliding,
Keep an eye out.
and me and James are teleporting from each other. I can't see party markers. And NPC, when you kill them, they stay alive for another 1 or 2 seconds before they start the death
You might not get my
animation.
humor.
Oh,
I just realized.
my goodness.
trouble is.
Not great so far.
He probably doesn't.
All right.
All right.
He doesn't even know stuff typed, so
I
all
think they
good.
should just
So that's what the
not
access
release
code was for.
4.10 at
Take a
all.
look inside and feel free to
Just-
All right, we'll love him and leave him. Let him get on with that.
Mhm.
All right, well, thank you guys on YouTube for joining us. Actually, I'd be able to. No, I wouldn't be able to do it on YouTube. You wouldn't have it set up. Yeah, I was gonna do a redirect on there, but I don't. Right. No idea what we're gonna do on the show on this week. Yeah. Oh, we've got a couple of things in the bank there. Record, but yeah, we'll get a show
Yeah, a
out
couple of things.
recorded next couple of days. And off to you guys as well. I think the Stingray one went actually. You and I had a chance to talk about that, but yeah. Other than that, don't forget to like, subscribe, ring that notification bell, and thank you everyone that went the extra mile at the end of the video on the Patreon. Very much. Right. Peace, been Algared.
Peace and execute. We are out.
Dear citizens.